Welcome in. Nice to have you aboard. Another day of just incredible weather. Spring in Memphis can't be beaten. It sure was fun. At the ballpark Friday night, spring game. You know, Brad, I can never really tell exactly how good something looks in a spring game because you're playing yourself, right? But here's what I got out of it, and I think it's right, and we'll get Drew's take on this because he was there too. I think, Brett, that you are going to see a lot of physicality. The left tackle Dobbs that came from Michigan State, I like him. He's good. He's got to learn all the plays, and everybody's got to mesh, but he's going to be really good. I like the physicality, really, of both the lines. I liked the fact that the depth in the defensive backfield. I'm seeing guys that are deep and that are good. This young guy from Michigan State, Barnett, he was outstanding in the game. Rodney Owens is outstanding. Leandre Thomas made every play, it seemed. He was everywhere. Boy, did we miss him last year. You got Jacoby France. I mean, you've got guys that will not start that have been starters. That is how deep that is. You saw the quarterback battle. I thought Gunnell was clearly better than everybody else. I was pretty impressed with the freshman Seth Hennigan. He shows a lot of promise. I'm sure he'll be redshirted because you've got Keelan Brown, who didn't look bad. The guy, I hate to say this, who I thought was number 4 on the depth chart based on the one game that we saw or the 2 quarters that really counted, that would be Peter Parrish. I think you see between Drake Clark and, hey, this freshman, Brandon Thomas, looked pretty good at running back. The linebackers are physical. I thought, Brett, everything looked pretty darn good. A team that absolutely should be able to compete for the American Athletic Conference Championship. Good afternoon. How was your weekend?
It was good, Dave, and that sounds great for the Tigers because you know the University of Memphis is going to have speed. You know the University of Memphis in this great run, starting in 2014, really parts of it in 2013, but the winning side of it in 14, it's been able to move the football and score points. And in this league, a lot of people nationwide may stereotype high scoring, make it take it football, but you know you're going to get into physical games with Navy, Houston, Tulane and Willie Fritz is going to be physical. And then if you get to a championship game against Cincinnati, you know it's going to be nasty. So you have to have what they have had, and it has been prolific on the offensive side with speed and scoring and quick strike ability. But then to have that physicality, that's when you're really rounding into having your program. It's never on cruise control. It's never easy, but a little more on cruise control and a little easier. And that's where they are.
Drew, what did you think? And tell me what your sense of the quarterbacks were.
Well, first thing that really jumped out at me was the run game looked a lot better. Now, there's one of two ways to look at that. It's, all right, our run game is going to be good this year, or, wow, we just really can't stop the ball on the ground on the defensive side. But I think it's more of the former rather than the latter. Defense looked good, especially in the secondary. As far as quarterbacks go, I think your assessment of it, I think Grant Gunnell cleared number 1. Seth Hennigan looked very, very good. I liked what he was able to do. And as far as Peter Parrish goes, I think he only threw 3 or 4 passes, so we really didn't get as big of a sample size as he did.
It was a pick.
Rodney Owens got, so I'm going to hold off on clear-cut having him at 4 because I think he played or took the fewest amount of snaps out of all 4 quarterbacks. So, wait and see. But as far as spring games go, I think you got out of it what you wanted to, hope and excitement for the season ahead.
Here's the thing you wonder about, and this could happen anywhere, Stats. If Hennigan, you're looking at him and you're going, wow, he's really going to be good in a couple of years. Let's redshirt him this year. And he could be going, no. I want to play, and I'm going to transfer if you don't let me try. I mean, that could happen, right? I'm not saying that will happen,
sure.
But we're going to see a bunch of that, right?
Dave, anywhere. We know across college football, if you post that depth chart too soon, really before classes start, everybody's number 3 is looking to get out of town.
Who was it? Was it Ryan?
And some number 2s.
Was it Ryan on this show? I can't remember where I heard a coach basically say there's 1,200 in the transfer portal and there will be 1,000 when the season begins. Basically saying a lot of guys who were thinking they were going to go to greener pastures are not even going to get picked up. And
we're going to have a round of cuts in May. I don't know if it'll be some at the University of Memphis, just where the coaching staff and the player recognizes it's probably not going to work out here. That's everywhere. It's going to be that conversation after spring. We don't like to use the pro type term like a cut, but that's what it is. And look, we have directors of player personnel now in college football, so the pretense at the Tigers and everywhere is long since over. That's not castigating anybody. It's just where we are in college athletics, and I think everybody will be better off understanding that and going with that. And yes, if it was mine being the one cut, I wouldn't like it at all. And it's probably not very much fun for that player and his parents and his family if they're the one being done that. But there's life somewhere else, and there's life after football, and they have to get ready for that as well. But yes, we're going to have a topsy-turvy summer of free agency and trying to figure out where people land. It won't be at all dissimilar to what we're experiencing right now in college basketball.
In the meantime, while all that stuff was going on, the Grizzlies were absolutely putting it to first the Bulls, then the Bucks. Great weekend for the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Grizz are now 3 games over 500. They are 2-0 on this very difficult 7-game road trip. And I sit here and say to myself, and I guess I should be going, wait a second, you're half a game out of 7th. So you're right back in the swing of things with the Mavericks to try to solidify your position. 3 games over 500.
Big now.
I'm going to tell you this. I think back to 2 losses. The last 2 losses they had, the free throws in Madison Square Garden. You realize if they won those 2 games, they would be 7
house money.
They'd be 7 games over 500.
We'd be talking a magic number.
Over 500. Let me just see what position that would get you. You would be the Portland Trail Blazers are 8 games over 500. You'd be a half a game out of 6th place. Half a game out of 6th, which means you don't have to worry about playing.
That would be it, and it's not. But boy, I did the same math at some point today or over the weekend, and thinking the same thing. And I'm not even trying to get that selfish and have that one back at Madison Square Garden. Just give me back to Doncic Leaner.
If you took that away, you would be in 7th place right now.
Yeah. And the power of 7, you host, you win,
right.
You sit and watch the rest of the play-in tournament play out and get ready for the 2 seed. And the 2 seed today would be a really stout team in Phoenix, and we're going to talk the Phoenix Suns today.
Okay. The interesting aspect to all of this for me is now you get into the heart of this. The Bucks were the beginning of the heart, but now you got 2 with Denver in a week and a half, and Portland, and that's
you're really into the middle of it now.
You're into it, and I don't know how long Jonas Valanciunas will be out. And man, he got hit hard in that game with Milwaukee.
Yeah, that was a scary one.
It was, and he didn't get up for a while. He got up. I give this guy all the credit in the world. He still played. He had a concussion. Obviously, we found out later. And now he's out. I don't know how long the concussion protocol is. You got to take on a guy like Jokic. Without him, that is why the line is 7.5. I actually thought it might be even higher. But you've got a tough mission now, and hopefully he comes back. But I will say this, because you and I have both done the math, and you're looking at Phoenix and possibly that matchup. I'm just just to be in the play-in now, though, that's 11, right? That's where you got to look to see where the Pelicans are. The Pelicans are now 7 games under 500. They are literally 5 games away from the Grizzlies' 8th spot. The Grizzlies, with what is it, 17 games to go, they are pretty much a lock to make the play-in now.
The magic number to eliminate New Orleans, to separate them for good from the Grizzlies, from the 8th spot, even just from the 8, is down to 12. So you feel pretty good. You know, here comes Golden State and Steph. We talked about this maybe right after you left Friday. Yeah, we did with Andy Schiffman. How many teams really want to be the 10? I think there are about 2 teams in the East that really want it. I think Washington really wants to be the 10 and could make some noise as a 10. You run Beal, Westbrook, Hachimura out there at teams, they could be a, air quotes here, dangerous 10. In the West, New Orleans doesn't want to. They want to be in the draft. Sacramento doesn't. Oklahoma City, whether they want to or not, they're not going to be. In Houston and Minnesota, they want the ping pong balls to fall right.
That's a tough stretch because you got a lot of teams worse than you. Even if you're at the 10, you still got 10 teams that are going to be worse than you. And I kind of look, and I think you're right. I think Washington does want to make postseason. I think it's almost like the NIT.
Scott Brooks does.
It's almost,
he wants the job.
I know. It's almost a little like the NIT. Let's get this foundation. Let's get a taste of what playoff pressure is all about. First off, we're going to get it in the beginning because, hey, we can win the play-in. All right, we might not be able to win a series against 8, against number 1, but we could win this and get a little taste of it and then see how the level goes up. This is
sell some hope.
It's developmental almost. Mm-hmm. And I think there are some teams, especially if they've got a core that they're pretty satisfied with. They know they have to make some additions, but that they could win in the future. And that's why it's important for Memphis, I think, now. And I guess even though I've sort of gotten greedy, and I'm looking here, and they could be a half a game out of 6th right now. And they've got 2 games left with Portland. I mean, I'm getting a little greedy considering I didn't think the Grizzlies had a chance to even make the play-in when the season was going to begin. And then you throw in the fact that Jaren Jackson still has not played 55 games into this season, and Winslow has played a handful of games. I'm almost to the point now, I don't know about you, but I'm almost thinking, why do you need Winslow? You've got Melton and Bain. Just let these guys go. Let them have their chance.
Yeah, that's a tough call. You just want to, I guess, try to keep seeing what somebody maybe what they have or what they don't have. A lot of NBA talk for us. And one of the things I love about betting on basketball is I'm always finding new player props or game props that I love. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score a gigantic payout. It's called a same game parlay bet, and you can only find them at FanDuel. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Just place a bet, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000, $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. And right now, new and existing users can get up to $25 in site credit back each day if your parlay falls one leg short with same-game parlay insurance. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Try same-game parlay and use promo code CASH, C-A-S-H, CASH, at sign-up. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund, $25. Terms do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee hotline at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis, and that's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity April sales event. It's beautiful outside. Get in that new Lexus. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in one of their beautiful cars as well. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, that is from Penny Hardaway. Penny spoke to the press for the first time about the new addition of players, all 5 that he will have, and there are 2 to 3 more still coming. He basically talked about each player with Earl Timberlake. This is the young man transferred from Miami who would probably have been, had he been healthy, a lottery pick in the draft. He says of Earl, he's probably the best two-way player that we'll have, considering Lester Quinones' abilities on both sides of the floor. That is a big statement. On Davion Warren, the young man from Hampton who led the Southern Big South in scoring. Davion is just an all-around stat guy. He can get by his man and make others better. When it comes to John Camden, he said, John is to me Tyler Hero of the NBA. He has the same game. He moves without the ball well and shoots it incredibly well. On Josh Minott, Josh is a point forward. He can play 1 through 5. And then on Sam Onu, that's the big guy. Sam's a true big. He's a guy who can stretch out to through a 3, but he likes to do all his dirty work down in the post. He's got great footwork, he said, too, about his game.
So it's Sam Onu, not Sam Aomidi. He wants to be as Sam Onu.
You know, it is just listed. Not even the Aomidi is not in there.
Okay.
It just says Sam Onu, 97th ranked prospect by rivals, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks as a junior. At offers from Illinois, Kansas, among others, originally from Nigeria, fluent in 3 languages.
Well,
English.
he's got us, 'cause
how about this? I don't even know of the other 2 languages he's fluent in. He's fluent in English. Okay, I know that one. Igbo, IGBO, I don't even know what that is, and Yoruba.
Huh.
Do you know?
Wow,
do you know IGBO? Is that Igbo?
I do not know.
I don't either. But
So
I like.
they're set, and there's more on the way. We know that.
Right.
And it's got to be this week, doesn't it?
Well,
This is
I'm going to tell
deciding
you.
week,
Remember
isn't it?
how we were trying to read between the lines with what
Yeah.
Keelan Lawson tweeted out? So here's something that he said in his press conference on Zoom today. He said, we're not looking for a guy who's going to play 30 minutes and be a star. We're looking for a guy who will fit in because we've already got a bunch of good guys.
Would that be Matt McClung?
Wow, I hadn't thought of that. Here's what I think. I think he's saying very loudly, and he must have said this on the Zoom with the Lawsons, I'm going to play everybody 20 to 25 minutes because I got a lot of good guys. I don't need a star. I need guys that want to fit in and be a part of the team.
Dave. There's
And
not a 30-minute role for anybody.
And so if Jonathan and Chandler are willing to go that route, and it's up to them, the ball's in their court, but it seems to me that is probably what he said on that long Zoom. Here's what I think you guys can be for us. Here's how we're going to do it. Look at how I got these other guys. Look at this play. This is how I perceive you to be. And look, I'm not telling you you're going to play 30 minutes because you're not. I'm not playing anybody more than 20, 25 minutes. But look, we made everybody happy last year, and those that didn't, hey, you want to go.
Dave, there's a great story of right after Arkansas won it all in '94. Do you remember the hot shot recruit Jelani Gardner in that stretch?
Sure.
Remember that name?
Yes, I do.
And he ended up not doing anything for anybody. But anyway, he was at his official visit. Scotty Thurman was his host, And, they had just won it all. Scotty had just hit the shot, and they're sitting there with Coach Richardson. And he point blank asked him, he said, now, I expect to play 30 to 32 minutes a game. And Coach Richardson started laughing. He said, you see the guy sitting by you? I just won the very colorful language national championship with him, and he played 26 minutes a game. Get out of my face.
Exactly. But that was telling to me. So, I'm not saying I know what the Lawsons are thinking, but it was very clear that if you go there, you got to fit in. You're not going to be a star. If they're willing to accept that, we'll see them in a week or so.
We will. My top story, Grizzlies off a great weekend. We've discussed it. Wins over the Bulls, wins over the Bucks, the Central Division Eastern teams, 2 of them, to start this 7-gamer, 2-0, 2-5 for this trip. Would have been great before they left. 3-4, 4-3 would just be outstanding. Playoff fever, I'm about to catch it. And it would even be more fun if people were allowed to be able to go. And whatever it is, if there's any kind of playoff game with the last 14 months everybody's endured, there will be a party downtown.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to get into this in medals here after Ted Butler at 3:30. But the crowd for the Tigers, now they wore masks. They were well behaved, I thought. But there was no social distancing. And it was a really good crowd. How many have you been to, Drew? How many spring games have you been to?
At least 12, probably, if not more.
Man, there's a place in Tiger Heaven. There's a place in Tiger Heaven for a guy that's been to 12 spring games by the time he's 25.
Yeah, especially not getting paid to go to them. I've been to, I don't know how many I've been to since '82. I probably missed 2 or 3 of them, but not many. I'm going to tell you, that was one of the better crowds that I can remember seeing, all told. And
we're getting close.
And we will get into all of that in medals.
Not top story of the day.
I hate this because I really like him, but I wish him the very best, and I hope he gets the minutes or the accolades or whatever was missing from Memphis. I hope DJ Jeffries gets it at Mississippi State. I think when he got over the pressure of having to be a star, he became a really good player. That stretch in the NIT, even starting in the American Athletic Conference tournament, he was starting to live up to the guy that we thought we would see. He himself said he put way too much pressure on himself. And he was the first guy, which sort of was confusing, who said during I think it was before the semifinal of the NIT, if we just stay together, we're using this as a foundation to make this kind of run in the NCAA. And then, of course, he was the first one that used social media.
I wish
to
he will
say
too,
he was
Dave.
leaving. But I wish him a lot.
He's walking into a pressure-packed year next year because Ben Howland's got to win next year.
He does.
And those players hear that, and they don't know it.
He does, and he just was on the team that put the beating on him.
Mm-hmm. He was. I forget. That's right. He was. And they did. They really handled State. My not top story, it's the pitching in baseball every night. You go through the box scores through the whole year so far. There's a 2 or 3 hitter every night. A lot of days and nights, a 1 hitter. It was a group 1 hitter yesterday, I think, for Seattle even. I mean, there's some zeros being put up on those scoreboards. And then when you get into a bullpen, they are so specialized. They come in, and they've got so much tape. Now, the batter's got a lot of tape on the pitcher, too, but these pitchers come in pumping gas, and it's tough out there for a guy just trying to get the bat on the ball.
Take away the mound, baby. I'm telling you, I don't want to move the mound back or the rubber back. Take away the mound.
I've seen a lot of little ballparks with no mound. I don't ever – it's like – Have you really ever played a great 9-hole course? I've never seen a great ballpark with no mound that was just flat.
You know what? There is supposed to be a 9-hole golf course in Chattanooga, and the people that did that golf course in Chattanooga are the ones that are now doing Overton Park, the $2 million redo.
Okay.
If you
I've had fun at 9-holers, but I don't know if I've ever played a great 9-holer.
Drew, if you can, somebody had just told me this the other day. It's a 9-hole public course in Chattanooga. you can't get on the golf course. It's stunningly
right?
beautiful, and the way they do this is they have different tee boxes so that you can easily play 18, maybe 27, all from a different spot, and it changes the way the holes
And
will
it's not a
lay
par
out.
3 course. It
No.
has
It's
4s and 5s?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty certain it does. I can't remember the name of it. Somebody, we've got a
Dave,
guy that texts
let me correct
us all the
myself.
time.
I have played a great 9-holer. It's no longer 9 because they built a tunnel under Highway 71 and added 9 a long time ago in Springdale, Arkansas. Springdale Country Club
Really?
was a fun to great 9-holer. Yeah, it was.
Have you got the name of that course yet?
I'm still looking. Double checking, make sure.
Somebody will text us on that one. It's become pretty famous, and I will say this too. I tip the cap, and I should have done this a long time ago. There is a philanthropic group that I know at least 2 of the people that are part of it. I don't think they want their name to be known, so I'm not going to mention it. But they've put up all the money. These people have put up $2 million because they think that Overton Park should be special. It is the place that a lot of people learned how to play golf, and they want it to be right. And they played that course in Chattanooga, and they go, we want this kind of thing. Now, I don't know if you can do it with the terrain, but this is the kind of feel that we want for Overton Park, and that's what they're going to get. What's it called?
It's Sweetens Cove
Yep.
in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, which is about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah,
east
Sweetens
of-
Cove.
Oh, yeah, it's legendary.
Yeah.
Well, you know some famous members of it as well.
Of Sweetens Cove?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They may not want their name thrown out either.
Well, Peyton Manning's on their website, so I'm guessing him.
That's one of them, and he's got a little brother that played quarterback in the NFL too. That's another.
I saw this great thing where Eli came in. There was some charitable thing, and he came in and spoke. It was beautiful. It was over the weekend. A tip of the cap to him for that, too. We're going to give away medals in a little bit, but we got a busy show. Ted Butler comes your way in a minute, then medals, then our friend David Cobb. Then we've got David Brandt. We thought we would be talking about the Phoenix Suns a little bit later. He works with AP in Phoenix. We can touch on a lot of things with him, NFL draft, baseball, a whole lot more. So we're busy, and we are now officially underway on this Monday edition of Sports Time.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Get to destinations unknown in your new ride from Gossett Mitsubishi 1870 Covington Pike. Get 43 MPG Highway and 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett at $12,997 or $133 a month. And it's not a lease, you own it. Dream big and drive further in your all-new 2022 Eclipse Cross. $23,373 or $284 a month. And exceed all expectations in your 2022 Outlander. $31,919 or $409 a month. Plus, we build it with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 2.79%. Mirage MH02807, MSRP 16865, Eclipse NZ03094, MSRP 26325, Outlander NZ05802, MSRP 34935, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
We saved big money with our Progressive Home and Auto Bundle and used the cash to take a family vacation.
To Hawaii.
Who's up for a luau?
Yay!
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big money with Progressive, but not enough to go to Hawaii. They'll probably use it for things like the mortgage and groceries, or even a travel magazine, so at least they can see pictures of Hawaii.
Aloha!
Yes, say hello to those beautiful Hawaiian beaches in that magazine. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1 and the new FM 98.5.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stotts. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Ted Butler's going to join us here in a minute. We got some breaking news. We'll give you in a second. I'll let you know I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios urging you, and I know they had a great weekend, that is for certain, at the Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road, where the pools are going fast, so please don't miss out. Remember, they sold out last year. Odds are pretty good they'll do it again this year, so get in while you can. Same thing with spas, in stock, now ready for delivery, raring to go. Just please, people, get there. Swing in the spring with a brand new play gym. There is professional installation available, and that is what I absolutely urge you to do, because you're going to put young kids on there. You want to absolutely installed the right way, and they do that at Family Leisure. Also, that 2021 patio furniture in stock, state-of-the-art, and some select sets now up to 20% off. Just go see what I'm talking about. You'll fall in love with the stuff they have in the store, and then your yard looks so gorgeous, and you'll use it even more. Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road, where family and fun come together. So, today, Tennessee landed a big one. They just got news that Joe Milton, the quarterback that started for the Michigan Wolverines a year ago, has decided to transfer to the Volunteers. He will be a UT Vol. He started the season last year. He was compared to Cam Newton by none other than Urban Meyer when he first made the scene at Michigan, started 5 games, lost his job to Cade McNamara in the final outing of the year. Thus, he opted to transfer. He had a lot of different places he could choose to go, and today he just revealed he will go to Tennessee. How about that? That is, I think, good news for those of you who are Tennessee fans. In the meantime, let's talk some golf. And there was a great story this weekend. Stuart Sink, at age 47, won for the second time this year. So he's made over $2.5 million already. Had his kid on the bag. That was fun. He had his whole family there. And Ted, let this sink in for a second. He's only the 4th guy ever at the age of 47 to win 2 tournaments in the same year. Sam Snead, Julius Boros, and Kenny Perry, who actually did that a couple of times. Pretty good company, huh? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I would say so. It was a real family affair, and he put on a clinic. we started out 63, and never looked back. It's a great story of a guy who's kept himself in great shape, and he's taken advantage of the new equipment with shafts and heads, and can still hit the ball 300 yards. And the thrill of having your son, who's a really intelligent caddy, with him. It was a good story. I really liked watching it.
Ted, it was fun, and I thought, in just real candor, Jim Nance talking about that this tournament has not been very good except for the family side of the drama that played out, and 47 years old, just dominating a great golf course. And then they touched on something. Stewart Cink really never got the anointing, to the victor go the spoils out of that 2009 Open Championship, because the whole golf world was into 59-year-old Tom Watson winning it, and he basically gave it away.
Absolutely. That was Stewart became I think, a villain in the midst of all that. Not that he was supposed to lay down and lose just because it was Tom Watson, but, that was Watson's tournament. The shots he hit on 18 were not bad shots, except his the two putts that he hit.
Right.
But his tee shot and the iron shot to the green landed right in the front of the green. It was a good shot and just trickled over. And the fact that Stewart won it was, more power to him. But everybody, including me, wanted Watson to win that. That would have been, history.
ABC didn't have Jack Nicklaus join that broadcast to call Stewart Cink making the putt on extra holes to win it.
Right. Nicklaus called Watson later on and, said how proud he was, and it was just Watson played a great tournament. Was he 59 then?
Yes. Yeah, he was. It would have been the oldest ever to win a major. He should have probably won it. I never felt mad, angry, sad at Stewart Cink. I felt terrible for Tom Watson. But but Brett, I think you're right. I don't think that Stewart Cink ever got to enjoy
his victory lap.
The joy of winning the major, because it's a little like Osaki when she won the U.S. Open, but there was so much controversy over Serena Williams and her
Great
fight
comparison.
with the line judge that it took the joy away from
when Leon
Osaka.
Spinks beat Ali. Nobody was happy for him.
Nobody.
And darn, you beat the great one.
Right.
You beat the greatest.
Right. And I went to see the rematch in New Orleans of that Ali Spinks fight.
Did you, Ted? Way to go.
Sat in the fourth row. It was incredible.
Look at you.
I love it. That's great. What do you think it is
about...
about...
that dome's had everything.
It sure has. What do you think about why Cink has had this, other than staying in shape, but what is it this year? Because he hadn't won in 11 years. He hadn't won since that British Open. And now he's won twice. So what's happened in the last 6-8 months that has changed his game?
Well, he was never bad in the first place. He's been competed in a lot of majors, and he's been around a long time. I'm not sure what's inspired him this year. Maybe mentally he feels stronger, and on a course like Harbortown, he can compete. Even though 300 yards is not a short drive, it's and he keeps it in play. If you watched him navigate that golf course, every shot was in the right place. The right side of the greens, and I don't know. You win one tournament, you get inspired. You get pumped up a little bit and think, well, maybe I can do that again. And it wasn't even close. He just kind of kept the pedal down.
He's set financially for the rest of his life and those adult children's lives, and probably all the children that they're going to have lives. They're set. But it really puts it on cruise for him the next few years. 2-year exemption, not yet in Memphis, but with a little work, he'll get in the field for Memphis, the other World Golf Championships. We know he'll start. Again, he's not sweating, going on vacation, but he knows where he'll start next year. He'll be at Kapalua, and last place is worth $50,000. That's not bad, is it, Ted?
No, No, and the thrill, because I've played enough golf with my son and two-man scrambles and stuff like that, where you're cheering each other on, and the guy, his son's caddying for him. What a thrill that is to come down the stretch and win a PGA event and have the rest of the family there when you get in. But you're right, that was about the only exciting part of it. It was not a thrilling tournament, to say the least.
Now,
but
I thought if you win, it's top 50 plus winners that year that get into the WGC.
Oh, Dave, you may be right on that latter part. I was just really keying off OWGR. So I bet you are right. You are right. So he's in with the W.
So he gets in. He also got an exemption.
He was already probably in.
He got an exemption to play in the U.S. Open too. Because if you win 2 tournaments, I didn't know this, you're automatically qualified for the U.S. Open for the year. And he hasn't played in the U.S. Open in, I think they said 7 or 9 years, something like that. So this is really great stuff for him.
It is. For a really nice person.
He is. He truly is. And then the other aspect that I thought was cool is, there were a couple of guys trying to chase him down. The one guy that I still think, is going to end up being a superstar, and he's a guy that I think we want to like, and that's Colin Morikawa.
Absolutely. I already like him. I think he's got a great game. I kept waiting for him to put 3 or 4 or 5 birdies together in a row, but it just didn't happen. But he's going to win his share of golf tournaments. He's for real. He's got every part of the game.
He is, Ted, and a more analyst candor. Yesterday, he hit a chip shot that wasn't very good. And both Trevor Immelman and Ian Baker Finch both described it as, that's not a chip shot you see from a PGA professional. Whew, that's rough on the PGA champion.
I was watching when that occurred, and he hit that really, really chunky. It's like he didn't keep his weight forward or something. Did you watch that particular swing, Ted?
I didn't see that shot, no. But it happens. Everybody out there hits bad shots, and most of the time we don't see it on Sunday because the guys are hitting bad shots are not there. But it happens. A mishit, he's trying to hit maybe a flop or a cut or one bounce skipper trying to hit a particular shot, and then the lie might not have been good enough. And there's all sorts of things could happen. Trying to do one thing and not pulling it off. And in chipping, that happens a lot. When you people who don't know anything about golf, when you try a difficult chip and flub it, they say, "Oh man, what a dog!" And it was like a fraction from being a perfect shot. So it happens.
One other guy that I think is going to be a decent player, young guy, Maverick McNeely, who ended up, he was tied for 4th in this thing. What is your sense of Maverick?
He's been around the last couple of years, and he's played some good worldwide golf, and you got to love his name. I mean, Maverick.
Yeah, I know.
You not like that.
Straight out of Central Casting.
That's right. He's a strong player, and I think he's got a really good future too. There's so many young guys out there that if they get a break, and you get on a roll, there's just no. I mean, it's just hard to win out there now. And then
it is, Ted, and it's just so many. And here comes another wave of what's being produced in college golf, what's being produced internationally. I mean, it's wave after wave, and I think what Hideki Matsuyama, the Masters champion, will inspire in his home country. And we've been waiting for years for the South Korean men to maybe not take over, but be dominant like the South Korean women are on the LPGA tour.
Well, speaking of college golf, I told Dave the other day that I don't know whether you mentioned or not that Rachel Heck had won another golf tournament at Stanford, shooting 69, 68, 63. She shot 16 under par, and it's the lowest score ever by a Stanford female golfer. That's
I'm not sure Tiger ever went lower than 69, 68, 63 at Stanford. Yeah, I mean that's pretty darn amazing.
Or Maverick McNeely at Stanford. Yeah,
she is a for sure LPGA player, is she not?
Yeah, absolutely.
What
and
her
next
sister, 15 years for her.
And Abby just graduated from Notre Dame, and she just played her final competitive round, and she will now be Dr. Heck. So that family
Wow.
has had a big week.
Yeah, they are some family.
But Rachel, I feel
that is
sure
it.
Rachel will hit the tour because she's got it all.
All right, we got
Ted,
this.
have you been instructing them since they first touched a golf club?
Well, in the beginning, the first 4 years of their development, I gave them lots of lessons, and they hit golf ball after golf ball. They would beat balls to death. I mean, and even the younger one now,
That's how you get good.
Anna is a pretty good player too, but they deserve it. Nobody around here works as hard as they did. I tell you that.
We got the team event in Zurich next week. Morikawa and Wolf. I like that team an awful lot. Rahm and Palmer, Rose and Stenson. A lot of good teams. Some young teams too. We'll take a real look at that on Sunday. We'll talk about it next Monday with you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Okay. See you guys.
That is our
Thank you,
teacher.
Ted.
That is Ted Butler. So many of the golfers around Memphis got the basics from Ted Butler at Summer Games and Golf. We got to take a quick timeout. When we come back, it'll be time for Precious Metals on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Fox Tonight, 911 and 911 Lone Star are back to answer the call with episodes so heart-pounding it's
an emotional roller coaster.
First,
The car's driving the wrong way on the freeway.
a new 911.
How many people had to die tonight? She was drunk.
Then, discover the fate of two beloved characters on 911 Lone Star.
It was an accident. How long were they in the water? Too long. I'm sorry.
All new Fox Tonight.
It's time, Memphis. Tune in to Bally Sports Southeast and watch your next-gen Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. when they take on the Denver Nuggets, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out Grizzlies.com for more information. Are you looking for a new job or a better career opportunity? Highline Warren, a leading distributor and manufacturer of automotive aftermarket products, is holding a hiring event April 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Bring your resume. Highline Warren is hiring for multiple warehouse positions. Great employee benefits include health, dental, vision, 401k, competitive pay, and more. Check out all the open positions at highlinewarren.com/careers. The hiring event is Saturday, April 24th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 4500 Malone Road. Highline Warren is an equal opportunity employer.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Cruising through another gorgeous Monday afternoon. This portion of our program brought to you by Supercuts. Supercuts, the place to go to look good. We're all getting back to date nights and going out to restaurants and having birthday parties and things of that nature. You want to look good, you go to Supercuts. They still have all the sanitization and that wonderful, wonderful health commitment that they made called the Safe Salon Commitment. That was a partnership with top infectious disease doctors. They figured out the healthy way to keep getting haircuts. And now we're really past the danger zone, but they're still being very, very cautious. So you want to look good, but you want to do it safely. The place to go is Supercuts. There's 15 locations. Go to supercuts.com to find the location that is nearest to you. We got lots to cover in a short period of time when it comes to precious metals. I'll start. I'm going to give Stuart Sink. We already mentioned him. 47 years old, 4-shot victory at Harbortown, which I like watching because I played it once there before. Ted's right. You got to know where to place the ball. So it is his second win this year. That ended an 11-year drought, and only the fourth guy at that age to ever win 2 tournaments. And maybe he'll get some more before it is all said and done. I got to give Grayson Allen a bronze medal. 7 threes in the game against Milwaukee. He bounced back nicely, didn't he, from not being able to hit those 2 free throws that would have put away Dallas. He's played really well against the Bulls and against the Milwaukee Bucks. What will he do tonight? He'll be important in that game in Denver. I'm going to give the silver medal to Cleveland pitcher Shane Bieber. 13 strikeouts against Cincinnati the other day. He is the first guy in history, Brett Norsworthy, in history to begin a season with 4 straight games with over 10 strikeouts. He's already got 48 strikeouts on the year. He's had 16 straight games going back to last year with 8 strikeouts or more.
Isn't that something?
That is one shy of Randy Johnson's record. 17, he ties Johnson if he can get 8 Ks in the next game.
I bet he will. And Dave, remember a few years ago the big cause celeb around pitching coaches and kind of the strategy was pitch to contact. You didn't want a bunch of strikeouts. You didn't want that wear and tear on the arm. You wanted to pitch to contact, have them slow roll it to the second baseman, or a pop up to the outfield. Now these guys, they want to go out there and have the 8, 9, 10, 11 K night.
Oh, yeah. I think that's the most important. It's just like hitting home runs. Strikeouts are up, and they have been every year for the last 15 years. That's why we got to do something about it. Take away the mound. And then my gold goes to the Tiger football fans that were out there for the spring game. I was amazed. It felt normal, like really normal in a crowd for the first time. There was the wonderful barbecue contest they had, and I can't remember the guy, but he won the Forrest Goodman Trophy. That's now the trophy that is named for the winner of the spring game barbecue, and I'm so glad for that, for the memory of my friend Forrest Goodman. So that is terrific. And then I'm telling you, in the corners of the end zone, in particular, almost all the way into the end zone on the north side, it was packed. It was really, really good. I think there were 10,000 people there. I really do. And
Drew, how big a crowd would the AAF had called that crowd?
Sellout.
190,000?
At least 95,000. Maybe
95,000 at the Liberty Bowl. What a crowd. That's almost new math, isn't it?
If we compared it, it was a sellout. Let's put it that way.
That's good.
Your medals?
My medals. Bronze to Gonzaga. Yeah, Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't get it done 2 weeks ago tonight, but no reason to believe in 50 weeks they won't be back. Mark Few has built, well, Dave, he's built what John Calipari had built and would have continued had he stayed at Memphis. And there was really one job that was going to get him to leave, and they're both kind of lifetime career-type coaches. My silver, and I give it to Gonzaga because they signed the number 1 recruit in the country today, Chet Holmgren.
Yes, and
at a Minnehaha, Minnesota.
Good friends with Jalen Suggs, who's also from Minnesota. I don't know if he was from that high school or not, but they know each other. What was interesting to me, there were 5 schools that were mentioned in the hunt. Memphis was one of them.
Memphis in there.
Yeah, I like that part of it, but unfortunately
didn't
come
get you
here.
a lot,
Yeah.
but it's worth being in the mix.
Yeah,
I guess.
sure.
I guess. Silver, Grizzlies, 2 down on this brutal road gauntlet, and maybe help on the way with Jaren Jackson. And, Dave, I'm almost getting playoff fever. I haven't been to a game all year, I probably won't even if it's a playoff game, just to be on that ultra safe side.
I'm gonna
probably not.
I'm double vaxxed. I'm going. I'm
2 weeks removed from double vax, so that's pretty good clearance.
You're in there now. That's it. You're almost bulletproof. Nobody's bulletproof, but as close as you're going to get after 2 weeks. I think if there's a playoff game in Memphis,
fans could be there.
I'm going to try to go.
I wish more diehard fans than I could be there for it. But I'm about to get playoff fever with the Grizzlies. Gold, almost 80,000 fans in attendance the last 2 weekends in Oxford and Starkville for college baseball.
Isn't that something?
They were maskless. There was no distancing and no problem. And for the nervous Nellies that want that always are the 2 week wait and see what happens in 2 week crowd, they've waited. They were having these kind of crowds a month ago. And we'll remember that both State and Ole Miss played in the no mask, no distancing tournament in Dallas in February. So they've been around this. There's no there there. They're safe.
My rust, well, it's the Grizzly luck. Valanciunas now out with a concussion. He did get hit hard right in the chops. He is one tough guy. I guarantee you if you asked him if he could play tonight, he would play. But by protocol, he cannot play. I don't know how long he'll be out. But as you mentioned, the good news on that is they have upgraded Jaren Jackson Jr. to doubtful. But that's a long way from doubtful. And then I got to give a final rust to the Liberty Bowl. If you looked at, in particular in the north end zone, there's rubber that's coming up through the field. The conditions were not good. The elevators, only one worked. There was a big hole in the floor. Now, they've got a lot of time until fall. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But Thomas Carrier and crew, they got some work to do to get that building looking the right way.
Boy, I wish we'd go back to natural grass. The great Warren Sapp quote, if you can't roll it up and smoke it, I don't want to play on it. I wish if we can't grow Bermuda grass in Memphis, Tennessee, you can't grow it anywhere. My rust goes to the Yankees, swept by the Rays. They've lost 15 of the last 23 when playing the low-budget, no-frills Rays. I don't know what the Rays are doing, but everyone in baseball should be copying it.
The Yankees have the worst record in the American League and the second worst record in all of baseball. Only Colorado at 4-12 is worse. The Yankees, the worst team in the American League.
We know if George Steinbrenner was around, somebody'd be fired.
Oh, there's no doubt that would have happened.
Now, it might get rehired
a
2
week
weeks
ago. Yeah. And that's an hour in the books. When we come back, our friend from CBSSports.com, that would be David Cobb. He comes your way in just a minute.
You ready for a new ride? We Gossett and Gossett Kia Covington Pike. And Bobby J is the man to put you in a new Kia today. It's less than $5 a day. 2021 Kia Forte, $129 a month lease. $31.99 due at signing. Find your soulmate with 2021 Kia Soul. $159 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. And 2021 Kia K5 built in America, $184 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, peace of mind you can trust with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
36-month leases, 0 security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344, $837, MSRP $20,655. Sold M777, $2135, MSRP $21,130. K5, MG 005560, MSRP $25,725. 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Hey, folks, Bob Burkheim for Sunrise Chevy. You know Sunrise has the best selection, price, and has financing for everyone. But did you know you can bring your vehicle to Sunrise's award-winning, state-of-the-art certified service department no matter where you bought it? Maintenance, engine, transmission, brakes, or tires. Bring it to Sunrise. Need body work? Tell your insurance agent you want to bring it to Sunrise. Schedule an appointment at sunrisememphis.com. Find new roads to Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in hour number 2 on a gorgeous Monday. Every day seems to be gorgeous. I want to bottle up these days. That is for sure. Spring game, we taught it with medals. What a success it was. The Grizzlies play tonight 2-0 on a do-or-die kind of a road trip. Man, they are really playing some kind of basketball, that is for sure. And the news today, official, Penny Hardaway has added 5, and DeAndre Williams, Landers Nolly, Quinones, all coming back. He had something nice to say about each player. It was really kind of fun to listen to Penny Hardaway again. He spoke, I think it was about 20 minutes in his Zoom press conference, so he is on his way, but he lost one big guy. We know Chet Holmgren, as Brett just told us, the number 1 player in the country, has gone to Gonzaga. I know that David Cobb from CBS Sports, who joins us all the time, you didn't write the story on that, but we'll get into that in a little bit and what Mark Few is doing there. But let's start, because you did write the story on the transfer portal and all that are in the transfer portal, and it did become official late last Thursday night that this was indeed going to happen. My question for you, even Ryan Silverfield didn't have the answer. Are we going to have the one time where you can go wherever you want to without having to sit out a year, and will you keep the graduate transfer rule so you'll have 2 opportunities to transfer without penalty? Or is this only going to be one and the grad transfer rule goes away? No one seems to know, but I bet David Cobb does.
That's a great question. I don't know that that's been ironed out yet. I haven't seen anything that suggests that graduate transfer would be going away, though. So I think you're looking at a situation where if a player is able to graduate and still has a year of eligibility remaining, that they could transfer for a second time. But one thing that is definitely important to note in that conversation is that if you transfer once and you don't sit out a year, what's happening to your academic credits? Are they all translating from the university you're leaving to the new university that you're attending? Or are you going to have to make up some ground?
David, come on.
Well, yeah, you know what?
Who's worried about that?
No. This is what is troubling to me. And here's the guy that wrote the story, right? They are ironing it out. So they voted without knowing the rules on what they were going to do here. That basically says they know they have to do this because there's so much public pressure, and we're just going to pass this so these people get off our rear ends, and then we'll figure it out because they don't know.
Well, I mean, I think they would have to vote again to change the graduate transfer rule because that rule has been in place for quite a while now. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of players who would actually graduate with a year of eligibility left who have already transferred once, because typically you sit out that transfer year, you get ahead academically. You know, guys who are savvy enough, they can figure out a way to get a master's degree done in 5 years. But you're not going to see nearly as many of those anymore because you're not going to sit out that year. And like I said, you're going to get set back in a lot of cases with your academic credits by going from one university to another. So, I mean, there will be some, but I don't know that there's going to be enough of those types of players to where they're going to have to modify the rules to, really accommodate them.
Well, I think in football you will, because you're still going to have a redshirt year in football. Almost every offensive lineman at Power 5 schools have been basically told they have to sit out their freshman year. You look at these successful programs. almost every offensive lineman and many of the players, I would say well over 50%, have been redshirted a year, whether it's injury or development.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, offensive line in particular is a position where with that new redshirt rule, you do see guys, play or appear in 3 to 4 games
Right.
and retain the year of eligibility.
That's
That's a relatively new rule change. So, yeah, in those situations, there would be no excuse, honestly, to not graduate if you take a red shirt, and then, you would be able to go somewhere else. So I don't know that they're going to change that rule, though, because it's its own law in the NCAA rule book. And so they'd have to go in and take it off of the books. And the language that I've seen from all the legislation so far hasn't addressed that. So unless it's, written in code somewhere in there that, and it very well might be, in the NCAA, I don't think that's been addressed.
Well, think about this, too. I don't know how you could, because if a guy – he's a grad student, right? So he's probably already been there. He's been there at least 4 years. Most of the time he's been there 5. You're going to make him sit out a 6th year to go for a 7th? You can't do that.
Yeah, no, we're going to see some ridiculous situations over this next year with the new red transfer rule and then the free year of eligibility.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a couple of, potentially, over the next couple of years, we could see an 8th-year senior in college basketball.
Wait,
wow.
You could see it in Memphis. Seriously. I don't know if it'd be 8th year, but let's see. DeAndre Williams will play next year at 25 years of old, 25 years of age. So because he will be just a junior again because they gave him back his year from last year, he could actually play at 26 years of age. I don't think he will, but he could.
Or get this, he could transfer after next season,
right,
and then have to sit out a year, and then go play somewhere else, and he'd be, pushing 30 by that point. We're going to see some ridiculous stuff, though. Like Jalen Coleman Lands, he's been at more schools than you can count, and he's in the portal right now, having left Iowa State, and could end up, in that situation because, they're saying if you've already transferred once, you are going to have to sit out, and so that's going to affect some guys who are in the portal right now. And we're almost going to forget about those guys. Like, I think we talked about Liam Robbins on here last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe, the guy who Jerry Stackhouse landed at Vandy, who's transferring in from Minnesota. And it looks like a huge pickup. And I'm sure they're going to apply for a waiver to get him eligible next season. But people forget that before he was at Minnesota, he was at Drake. And he transferred into Minnesota last season, didn't sit out. And so now the way this rule is shaping up, he is going to have to sit out this next season. And we're talking about a guy who's already been to prep school for a year after high school. So there's going to be a lot of situations that have to be ironed out like that. And it means the waiver process isn't going anywhere either because, we've all gotten sick of hearing guys wait on their transfer waivers over the last few years. And I'm afraid we're unfortunately not quite done with that one just yet.
David, who does it help more? The big established places, the name brand places, or does it help somebody to maybe patchwork, piecemeal together a team pretty quickly at a smaller level for both sports, for football and basketball? Who's it help more?
I think it helps the big guys in both sports. And I kind of got to marinate on that a little bit and kind of think about what the ramifications will be, in both sports and how it'll vary. And that would be a great story idea, would be to call some coaches at various levels throughout both sports and kind of get their opinions on that. But on the surface, I think it's going to help the big guys more because what you're seeing, and this isn't new necessarily, but I think we're seeing more and more of it, especially I think in basketball, which is where my, attention has been focused, because just of the season that we've been in. If you look at the portal now, you're seeing guys who, averaged double digits at low and mid-major schools who are in that portal and looking for that opportunity to go play at the next level. Everybody probably at this point wants to be the next Maceo Teague, who the Baylor guard starts his career at UNC Asheville, is really, really good there. All of a sudden, he realizes he could go and play at a higher level. In his case, he had to sit out a year. Now you're not going to have to do that. And so I think you're going to see high major programs who are not just looking at high school players, but they're going to be looking at the Big South and the Colonial Athletic Association and the Ohio Valley Conference almost as another type of recruiting pool because if you can, score 17, 18 points a game in that league with decent efficiency, you can probably translate that to a higher level.
Well, Memphis is hoping that's the case with Davion Warren, right? I mean, Big South scoring leader,
Yep.
13th in the country,
Yep.
21 points a game. Will that carry over? Here's what I worry about, okay? And I'm not going to say that's happening with Davion Warren. I'll use a different example. I use Jaden Gardner from East Carolina. He's leaving. He could have stayed at East Carolina. Had he stayed at East Carolina, I think he would have become their all-time leading scorer and rebounder. He would have had a place in their history forever. And he still may, and all may be forgiven, and he'll go back and they'll do some sort of thing with his jersey 10 years from now. And I hope that's the case. He goes to Virginia. Let's just say Virginia, in this recruiting class that they pick up, well, they find two blue chippers that are better than Jaden Gardner, because Gardner's a tweener to begin with. He's really an inside player who's not big enough, I don't think, in the ACC to produce the kind of numbers he did at East Carolina. But we'll see. And I only wish him the best because he's a terrific kid. But I'm worried about players who go. Taj Washington, same thing could happen with him at USC, where you go there, and he's a sophomore. Gardner's a graduate guy, so he's going to get minutes right off the bat. But what if Taj Washington goes now, because there was a need for receivers this year, but our friend Helton, he's got to get a recruiting class. I mean, there's pressure on him to get a recruiting class. He had a good one this year, and Taj is a part of that now. But let's say he over recruits Taj Washington. Yeah. Now Washington leaves after his sophomore year to go become a big timer, and he's recruited over. That, to me, I agree with you. I think this is so beneficial to the powerhouse teams that have let a smaller school basically develop the kid, and then they're gonna reap the benefit of that. But I'm worried about the kid being the loser in the long run in a lot of instances. There are 1,200 in the transfer portal right now. There will be 1,000 when the season begins next year.
Yeah, I see that being a bigger issue in football. Like the Taj Washington example, I think could very well come to fruition where, they keep raking in receivers. They work the portal next cycle as well. All of a sudden, he's playing a minimal role or a special teams guy or what have you. Basketball is way more calculated, I feel like, in the way that coaches assemble their rosters. And the fact that the transferring is occurring so late in a given cycle with a guy like Gardner, Tony Bennett knew what he had coming into that, next year's roster. I'm sure there was sort of a pretty good understanding on both sides about what that basketball arrangement could look like. But I absolutely agree on the football side, and I think we'll see that come to fruition very quickly, where guys leave for greener pastures and it doesn't work out. And how about this? I saw this is back on the basketball side, but this blew my mind the other day, where Minnesota's new basketball coach, Ben Johnson, was an assistant for Minnesota, a few years ago. He's been on the Xavier staff, but anyway, he comes back to Minnesota now as the head coach. Well, one of the players that he has signed is a player who transferred out of Minnesota to go play at College of Charleston, and now he is transferring back to Minnesota to resume his college basketball career, and that just kind of blows my mind that situation is.
We can remember when Sunday Adebayo did that around here.
He sure did. He left Arkansas, came here, and went back to Arkansas.
Yeah, and
played well. We're going to see more and more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are, David. David, this weekend, a round of spring football games, and I think they probably wanted him to be, and he played to where he deserved it. He was the MVP of the Alabama spring game. Somebody's got to replace Mac Jones, and Bryce Young stepped right in there, and he was the MVP of the spring game, and now Tennessee gets a quarterback from Michigan. When are you going to do your first SEC quarterback ranking column?
I know. I was actually working on that. That's really funny you mentioned that. I don't know if it's ever gonna get published, but I've got a notes app. I'm just kind of working through it. It's a good exercise to kind of get me back on the kind of the football side of things now, with basketball kind of winding down and the top commitments in this basketball class kind of mostly lined up. I'm trying to sort of get the wheels spinning on football again. And I sat here and I started going through SEC quarterbacks earlier. And look, JT Daniels and Matt Corral are at the top of the list for me. I think the proven production that those guys bring to the table, makes it to where they have to be the quarterbacks that you look at as tops in the league going into the season. But Bryce Young, man, the potential obviously is there. It's all reports from that spring game at A-Day are that he was fantastic, and so I've got him ahead of Bo Nix, sight unseen for the most part, so that's kind of just tells you what
LSU has 3 better than Bo Nix.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see how Bo Nix does in the Brian Harsin system. I think I know he and Gus Malzahn were really, really close. I know that was a relationship that meant a lot to Bo Nix. But I'm curious to know and see if a change of scenery and getting Mike Bobo in there as Auburn's offensive coordinator. Curious to see what they can kind of unlock in him and see if he can kind of creep back into that category of being a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the league, kind of like we thought he might be as a freshman. Because I still feel like there's something there. We're talking about a guy who was a 5-star player who's still only a junior. So I'm really curious about how Bo Nix is going to respond to that new staff this year.
Where will you put Joe Milton, who just transferred from Michigan to Tennessee? Hope for the Vols.
I know, right? I honestly, I see that as a red flag that Josh Heupel is taking another quarterback at this stage of the process. So it makes me curious to see what that Tennessee spring game is going to look like on Saturday. We know that Caden Salter, the freshman out of Texas, dual threat guy, highly touted, having some, I think, legal issues that have kept him out of spring practice. But still, if he's around and going to be a part of the program, there's 4 scholarship quarterbacks already. And now you're talking about bringing in Joe Milton from Michigan. That gets you up to 5. No football program needs 5 scholarship quarterbacks unless they're planning on running at least one of them off. So that's my concern about the situation there with Joe Milton committing to Tennessee is that I think it might suggest that Josh Heupel doesn't like what he's got. And that, to me, is a serious concern.
Yeah, and I said that about the LSU quarterbacks, and I meant it. But one of them for sure, if not 2, if they could get any kind of leeway, and I think it's Miles Brennan's job. He got hurt. He was having a great year last year. Now, he wasn't playing in the secondary. It wasn't his fault opening day against Mississippi State in the KJ Costello show. What he was playing was quarterback and was great at it when he was in there, and then had a really dangerous, odd injury. And then here came, 2 freshman players that both played well, including at the end of the year, Max Johnson, Brad Johnson's son. But those guys want to play. They're not going to want to go into August if Ed Orgeron designated Miles Brennan as a starter.
Right. So I see that as like a 3-horse race, right? It's Brennan, who I agree with you. I don't think a guy should lose his job due to injury. Brennan faced the kind of impossible task of trying to replace Joe Burrow, and he was having a good year. And then obviously Max Johnson. And then I think T.J. Finley would be the other guy probably in that mix.
Mm-hmm. Good player.
Nussmeier there as a freshman. Sounds like he might redshirt. But yeah, so three quarterback battle there. And that's a huge job this year because if LSU is going to put just the awful news cycle that has been the last 8 months behind it and kind of return to the trajectory that 2019 suggested it was on, getting good quarterback play is going to be huge. I mean, we saw that defense start to take some steps later in the season. So if they can kind of get back to some base level of competence, it's going to be, I think, a lot. It's going to fall on that quarterback position at LSU to kind of keep LSU on the right trajectory and frankly, to keep Ed Orgeron off the hot seat. Because if Ed Orgeron wasn't hoisting a national championship trophy a mere 14 or 15 months ago, he might be out of a job right now because, I mean, LSU's in some deep trouble with all these allegations that are surfacing, and honestly, it's not just a football program. I mean, we saw the USC get handed down its basketball allegations the other day from the FBI stuff. And, some of the others could be coming down. So I mean, Will Wade's in trouble too, and that athletic department is just kind of inflamed right now.
14 months ago, Ed Orgeron's at the White House in the Situation Room with President Trump asking, "What's this button do?"
I know, right? That's what a scene, man.
Yeah.
They need to make
Nothing to fear but fear itself. There is it.
I know, right? Yeah, that's terrifying.
With Trump and in the Oval Office.
You just mentioned USC and the penalties that they got from the FBI wiretap stuff. If I'm Will Wade, I'm going, whoo, man, that's not. They didn't get any postseason ban. Did you take any umbrage at all with the real lack of teeth that the NCAA handed down to USC?
Well, yeah, and what I took from it is that they kind of obsessed over the level of cooperation that UNC demonstrated.
Right.
And if you go back, and nobody has time to unpack the nuances of every case and every investigation there, but I mean, if you go back and look at it, the assistant in the USC situation was very, very, I don't know, repentant. Is that a word? He was very, very publicly apologetic for what he did and what his role was in it. He owned up to it. USC cooperated with the investigation, put his tail between his legs, so on. Whatever. LSU has not done that. Kansas, has not done that. Auburn has not done that. Hasn't even acknowledged that it's received a notice of allegation. So I think there's going to be a difference there. One, I think the head coaches are more readily involved in the the other programs I'm mentioning. At USC, it was clearly very much an assistant who had the smoking gun. So I know if I'm Will Wade, it shouldn't calm you down at all. It should make you wish that you had cooperated because, I mean, the NCAA was so clear in handing down that ruling about, why it was not all that severe. And it's because it was, USC cooperated and I mean, LSU is not. So I don't think that LSU should read into that and feel relieved at all.
I just wonder how long it'll be before the AARP really starts handing down.
I know.
Any other penalties to any other places.
Yeah, at some point, guys, what are we doing? There's 8 or 9 cases in the queue there to be decided, and that committee has done nothing. They've done nothing so far. So
NCAA loves to work by the hour, though.
I know it's embarrassing, honestly, at this point.
It's baffling. It's truly baffling that they've had all this time.
But consistent with them, isn't it, Dave? Because it's how they always kind of kick the can.
But wait a second now. This is not the NCAA. This is the new committee that's supposed to right that ship. It's the IARP, and they have had
one-time ruling, no appellate
exactly.
process.
And they've had these cases for a long time now. Now, the initial argument was, look, COVID has slowed us down. I'm not totally going to buy that because everybody did business through Zoom after that. You're telling me the IARP couldn't have? They still couldn't make their investigations and make their phone calls and do the Zoom stuff. I don't understand the delay. And there's, as you just said, there's a lot of cases in waiting, and a lot of people are wondering, Penny, I'm sure it did not come up in his press conference today, but he's got to be wondering, I'm putting this team together. Am I going to be able to play in postseason?
Yeah, and a lot of teams are in that same boat. And in Arizona, Tommy Lloyd walked into that situation from Gonzaga with no idea what kind of penalties Arizona is going to be facing, and also, no idea when the penalty might come down. And, that's, to me, a really tough situation to walk into for a new coach and really for anybody who's awaiting a ruling. It's going to be rough. And like you said, Dave, no appeals process either. I think that's a really important distinction to make because if the IARP starts handing out postseason bans, we're not going to be able to do, what Oklahoma State did, where you appeal the ban and you kind of back your way into the NCAA tournament anyway. I mean, there's not going to be any of that with Arizona, with Memphis, with NC State, with any of these other programs that are awaiting a ruling. And, we don't think that what Memphis did and the James Wiseman situation should result in a postseason ban. I wouldn't think that, but we don't know. There is no precedent from this IARP. And, if they deemed that Memphis was uncooperative in the way they played Wiseman, after it was recommended that he sit, then who knows? Maybe they come out with some teeth. And the fact is we don't know right now, and the fact that his body is not making rulings is really frustrating, since they were specifically built out of the FBI scandal with the way the Commission on College Basketball came together with recommendations. And, here we are almost 4 years after that FBI sting, and really the bulk of the cases has still not been resolved by the NCAA.
No doubt. You tweeted out the other day something about looking for restaurants. I was trying to remember where, because I was going to help you out. Where were you going?
Yeah, I'm in Tucson.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can tell you, there are some golf courses in Tucson that you need to
I'm going to one
check
right
out.
after we get off the phone.
Are you going to go to
Very good,
there's a place
David.
called Van Tanyan. I think it's Van Tannen Canyon or Ventana Canyon. Memphis stayed at, at a resort hotel there. Unbelievable golf courses. There are several in that area that are just several are connected with hotels that are just gorgeous.
I know. I'm excited. My first stop is going to be Star Pass, which is it's a 27-hole course. I'm gonna play 9 today, and it's where Phil Mickelson won his first PGA Tour event back in the early '90s. He was actually still an amateur. So they've got 27. One of the 9s they prefer that you walk. I don't know. It's some sort of a environmental thing, and so I'm going to walk that 9 today, and hopefully it all goes well.
Well, enjoy. I'll try to find you some restaurants and text them to you. But I love Tucson. The weird thing about Tucson is because they actually turned down federal government money for highways because they didn't want the city council back in the 60s did not want it to grow. Well, it grew anyway because the university is there. So every road kind of, to me, looks like Summer Avenue. Good luck on that.
That's hilarious. All right, well, I'll
no shot at Summer Avenue, though.
No, it's not a shot at Summer. It's just that's the way they are.
Thank you, David.
They're all like 4-6 lanes, and there's traffic. Thank you, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That is
All
our
right.
friend David
See you,
Cobb
Dave.
from CBSSportsLine.com. Our title sponsor for this hour of the program is Homer Skelton Hyundai, and Genesis of Olive Branch. Please go see my friends because they have product that you will be proud of and you'll keep for years because it's durable. Every new Hyundai, every new Genesis car gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. That's just standard. That's the way they operate. Now they've upped the ante with service, too. They want to take care of you. They want to make sure your car is going to make for an incredible certified pre-owned car whenever you decide to give it up because they last forever. Every new car gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package on the house. They'll change your oil. They'll rotate your tires. They'll make sure your windshield wipers have fluid. They'll take care of your transmission oil. Everything is taken care of for 36 months because that's how they believe business should be done. See how they've raised the bar by getting on Lamar. First exit in Mississippi, you turn left. It's Craft Road, and there you will see what I think is the way car business should be done. You'll love this crew that's been together 13 or 14 years at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about the Grizzlies and their game tonight with Denver. That is next on Sports Time on Sports 56.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
You've probably seen him, heard about him, passed him while he was working, but you never thought you'd need him until you do. And when you do, you really need Papa Lock of Memphis. Papa Lock of Memphis is all about locks and keys and more. Lose your car key? Papa Lock can make new ones. Moving. Don't take the key you're handed. Lots of other folks have been handed that same key. Papa Lock will re-key your home so you're safe. Need more than a new key? Papa Lock is expert at installing access control so you know who and when there is entry of your home, office, warehouse, and more. Multiple properties? Let Papa Lock of Memphis set up a master key system for you. Call 901-527-6737. That's 901-527-OPEN.
Papa Lock of Memphis, your trusted locksmith.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wollo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
And welcome back in. Nice to have you aboard on this beautiful day. It's a good day where you might not want to cook. Why not stop by the commissary? Either one, Germantown, Collierville. Get your dose of nachos, or maybe you're in for, heck, cheese and sausage plate, the tamales. There's so many choices, and here's the great thing about the beautiful commissary. Everything's always consistently good. I've never had a meal that wasn't always perfect at the commissary. Ribs, same thing. And I love the ribs. I love the sauce. I love their shoulder. Everything comes out the same every time I go there, whether it's Germantown or whether it is in Collierville. That's Poplar and Houston Levy. That's the bigger place. Plenty of social spacing in there. If that's a worry, no sweat there, or go through the drive-thru. And, of course, you still have that great, quaint little place in Germantown, in downtown Germantown. So you don't have to cook tonight. Get yourself some barbecue and relax and enjoy on the patio. It's patio weather. On the patio, some takeout from the commissary. You will thank me later. So the Grizzlies now tonight in Denver, and I always worry about Denver for this reason, Brett, altitude. I think people don't realize how the altitude can take something out of you. You are a mile high, and here's a team. They're playing without Murray, but they still have Jokic, and there's no Valanciunas, and that's
how
the
high
reason
Steamboat?
why. Well, no, Steamboat's another quarter of a mile up. Steamboat's about 7,500 feet up.
I mean, how high in Steamboat?
Oh, come on.
And how high tomorrow? I mean, it's a very important day tomorrow, 420. How high is it going to be in Steamboat then?
Well, that tomorrow's a very important day on many fronts. It's not just because it's marijuana day. I hate to tell you. Marijuana day.
Birthday day tomorrow.
That's right. And I hate to
68 trips around the sun.
Yeah.
You're almost around it.
I was around before there was marijuana day. Actually, I'm going to take marijuana day because you know what this day was usually known for until it became marijuana day? was the birthday of Adolf Hitler. So this is a much better thing to have on the same day as my birthday. Yeah.
Where were we?
Yeah, I don't know. You've interrupted.
Playing the Nuggets. Playing the Nuggets. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Let's not have flashbacks.
But being a high place, it is legal for there to be the imbibing of marijuana.
People say you have to really watch the edibles. A little bite to go a long way.
Yeah, well, I don't think the NBA tests for marijuana anymore, do they?
I don't think so. They shouldn't.
No. So, hopefully, that won't be a factor either. There's a lot of distractions in Denver. But seriously, without Valanciunas tonight, and you've won 2 already on this trip, what do we say?
Kind of know how this.
What do we say? If you went 1 game under 500 in this stretch, it was a pretty good stretch.
Oh, great trip.
So 3 and 4 would have been fine.
Get 1 more and just skip back home happy as you can be.
Well, I think now you sort of want to go 4 and 3. And I think that's possible.
That's sports, isn't it?
But you've got to get back Valanciunas. Valanciunas is a guy. I don't know why we don't give him enough credit. You and I do. Ron Tillery, who will join us tomorrow, does. But for the most part, everybody still
seek it.
Everybody still talks about it's Ja and it's Jaren. Well, Jaren hasn't played yet this year, and this team is 3 games over 500. Here's the thing I don't understand. They are 16-10 on the road, right? 16-10 on the road, and at home 13-16. How can they be 3 games under 500 at home? It just goes to show you crowds do not matter.
No, I hate to do this to you. Who's played more games as a member of the Memphis Grizzlies? He appeared in more games, Valanciunas or Jaren?
I'm going to say Jaren Jackson, Valanciunas.
It'll be really close. It'll be really close because Valanciunas is usually the every night guy, and he took a shot, and I've just loved him. And I think
let's figure this out. Jaren played his first year.
They don't do your brain like that. Let Drew look at it.
I don't think he played.
Yeah, old brain's been around the sun.
That was an 82 game.
Like
wait. That was an 82 game season, right?
Yeah, but he didn't play. He didn't play but about 50.
I was going to say he played 55 or 60, so I'm on the same page with you there.
Last year, what, about 40, 50 more?
Well, he didn't play in the bubble at all, right? He got hurt while they were practicing in the bubble. Wasn't that the case? And he hasn't played yet this year, so I'm going to say, let's just guess that he's played.
I've got the answer.
Let's guess.
Don't
I'm going to say
110. It's hurting my brain hearing you do your brain like this.
Well, my brain's impossible to hurt because of those years in Steamboat. 110 games is my guess. Now, Valanciunas played last year. He played the end of the year before that. I'm going to say maybe 20 games.
Yeah.
And then last year
70.
he played most of the games, so it was in 90. Yeah, I think he's played more. He's played 50 games this year. He's played more.
Answer is?
He's played more. What's the answer, Mr. Drew?
Answer is, Dave, you're almost perfect on Valanciunas. He played 19 games for the Grizzlies the first year. He's played a total of 139 games.
Wow.
Jaren Jackson Jr. has only played 115.
Wow.
We
were close on that, man. That's
great. Look what the collection of our brains put together on all that.
When all we had to do was
that
Google
was beautiful,
it.
Yeah. No kidding, but he's been fun to watch, and I think when we get crowds back, he will very much be a crowd favorite. And there's plenty of things that this team can get better at. There are some obvious ones like Ja from outside. He's got to be better than a 28% three-point shooter. I think he will be. Well, we can remember when we were wondering if Mike Conley would ever get better in that percentage and just what a 2 or 3% increase would provide there. And I think he'll do the very same thing. So future very bright, and I think for the ones that can go, it could be a fun May at FedEx Forum.
I'm going to go back to what I was asking you guys before, and I know we have the rest of this year to figure it out. And really the gamble is a 1-year, $13 million option. But it's, in my
Play him
mind,
or not.
there's a little bit more to that. No, I would play him this year if he comes back healthy, and he's I think he's questionable. He's been upgraded today as well. But you now see what you've got in Bain. And this guy's worth keeping. He can shoot. He can drive. He brings energy. Every time I've seen him, he's still a rookie, but I haven't seen him take a night off. I think you know what you've got with DeAnthony Melton. You got him to a contract that's very, very favorable. And not only
what you have in Brandon Clark.
Not only have you got this guy on the offensive side who can shoot threes, but he's a great defensive player. He's a very, very skilled with that wingspan defensive stopper. So you've got a little of what you got with Winslow at a much cheaper price. I don't know why you would not just give those minutes. And you got Grayson Allen, who's now become a player. That's a great story. Grayson Allen has gone from a cheap shot, kind of a bad dude with questionable skills, to a guy we know can flat out shoot. I suggested this right off the bat, and all he had to do was learn to calm down a little bit. And he played so hard in college that he did dumb things because it meant so much for him to win. But he was a cheap shot, dirty kind of a guy. Well, I think in this league you can't do that.
You got about one cheap shot in you, and then you can get your head taken off.
Right. Well, I thought the other day, this always happens to Grayson Allen, where he hit it was the face or the eye of was it Drew Holiday? It was a buck.
Yeah, but I don't think it was malevolently. I think it was accidentally.
No, it wasn't. But the player was so PO'd that he came down, and they thought it might have been a malicious foul on him because he fouled Grayson Allen as Allen was driving to the hole, and he came from behind. You remember that? And they went back, and Pete and Brevin were confused, as were all of us, because it was in Milwaukee. They're not there.
What's he so angry about?
They thought that. No, they were thinking, wait, maybe they're not looking to see if this is a foul on the buck. Are they going back to review Grayson Allen? And I'm going, well, if they do, it is a rep thing on Grayson Allen because they're going back to his days at Duke that he always does these dumb things. But thank goodness that wasn't it, and they just called it a common foul. I think it was Holiday, but I'm not 100% certain. But anyway, Allen just took 2 free throws and made 1 of 2.
Yeah, and for the Bucks, this is about the end of the go for it years with Giannis for this time period, isn't it? Don't you think they'll have to kind of retool? They're stuck in third. I don't think they would lose a first-round series against the Knicks. But if they did, that could be the end of Bud there and keep you honest and build around him and tear down.
I just don't see this team. Middleton is so important to this team, and he's not consistent enough. What was he against the Grizzlies? Like 3 of 14 or something? He was terrible in that game. And they let Bledsoe go. Holiday's a good player. I just don't see the chemistry and enough good things from them to think that they could beat Philadelphia.
They've missed their window.
I think they have. I think they have missed their window. They were a great regular season team last year. I don't think they're better than the 76ers. I don't think that they're better than the Nets, although who knows with the Nets.
And we've seen it before. We saw Oklahoma City miss their window.
Right. And Kevin Durant, left to close that window, and now Kevin Durant's hurt again. So I don't know about the Nets. I think everybody's going to, they're going to be handing this thing to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, quite a story for Doc, and he being revitalized there, great reputation, won it in Boston, couldn't get it done in the bubble with the Clippers, and it cost him.
It did, but I think your point well taken on the Bucks, and I think the Grizzlies exploited that. The Bucks window.
Thank you, Dave. I was just trying to rally after that great math exploits you put on those games.
You did.
I was just trying to rally and contribute to anything.
You rallied beautifully, but it is eye-opening what we did learn. That lesson is clear. Valanciunas is already in a limited time, never thought of as being the core guy. He's already played more games in a Grizzlies uniform than Jaren Jackson Jr.
You could win a Cole Frosty one around town making that bet.
I think you could.
In places.
Speaking of which, so perfectly put, because this portion of the show is brought to you by Tiger Tail. There's your cold Frosty. I must confess, I have bragged about this particular beer, and a younger generation, Gabe Kuhn. You know, there was a big thing at the brewery on Saturday, and everybody heard about it at the game on Friday, and I think that I'm not sure if it was Friday night or if he went to the brewery on Saturday with his brother who's in town, but Gabe told me that beer is fantastic. They loved it. The Coons went crazy for Grind City Brewing's Tiger Tail, and guess what? Everybody is. That's why it's now available.
That's St. Louis boys. You know they know good beer.
Oh, they do. They know a good thing when they see it, and they told me how much, or Gabe did, how much he and his brother really enjoyed drinking Tiger Tail. You can get it in Kroger now. It started where you could only get the Tiger Tail, which is the official craft beer of the Memphis Tigers. The only place you could get it would be at Grind City Brewing in Uptown. Then it started going to spirit shops, too. Now it's in Kroger because it has become so popular. It is a malt liquor, but it's a craft beer, and it is different than any other malt liquor you have ever had, I promise. It's crafted with a bold but smooth flavor, 7.5% alcohol, so be careful. It'll get you. And it's got this clean finish, which makes it the most easy drinking beer I think I've ever had. You're going to love it. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing, they're taking care of beerness in Memphis. We take a quick timeout. We'll go over again what Penny had to say as he had his first press conference since the NIT, and he talked about the 5 newcomers. We'll go over all of them when we return in just a minute.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
20
2021 is finally here. Might I suggest we start the wonderful new year with a makeover for your beautiful house. I'm Brian Elder. I'm a roofer. I fix roofs. Don't let them tell you that it has to be replaced when all it may need is some love. 867-0303. Let me love on your roof. I've made quite the reputation over the last decade as the guy to call after the insurance company denies the claim. Overturning a claim that has gone bad is an art form where you argue county code, manufacturer specs, and details of your policy that they have to abide by. So let me see it first. If I say it's a claim, it's a claim. 867-0303. Money is free at Brian Elder Roofing with 0% financing for half a decade. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you a quote right over the phone. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our second hour on this beautiful day. And it was the first day, really, that we've seen or heard from Penny Hardaway, and he came in barrels of blasting today. Talked about 5 players that he had signed, really happy with those players, then made some comments about the players that are going to come in. So I'll go over the players that that he talked about coming in, but he said some interesting things, Brett, and we know that the Tigers have either 2 or 3 scholarships, depending on if Moussa Cisse comes back or not. And they are pursuing Jonathan and Chandler Lawson. We heard about a 2.5-hour Zoom call last week. And he then talked about really and truly players that were going to be added that he said, and I'm going to quote here, obviously you want players that can fit the system, players that want to come in and do what it takes to win ball games. That's first and foremost. You don't want guys that are needy, that need 20 shots or 30 minutes. That's not our style of how we play. The biggest thing about the next 2 spots is getting guys that understand what this is all about. It's about sacrifice. It's about joining a group of guys that are pretty good and adding their talents to have a common goal of winning championships, whether it's conference or NCAA, whatever it is. He said that Earl Timberlake, probably the best two-way player in the college game today. He's got a good balance here, too, because you got Timberlake and Warren and 3 guys that were really sought-after recruits. All 3 are top 100. Davion Warren, by the way, the other kid that led the Big South in scoring, he was also number 2 in the voting for Defensive Player of the Year in the Big South. So he's a two-way guy, too. And Penny goes, I have gone away from just younger guys. Not that I'm going to go completely away, because you have to have class balance, veteran and youth, but he wants guys who fit in and guys who have experience, and Timberlake and Warren certainly do, and now so will Lomax and so will Lester Quinones for sure, and obviously
Dandridge.
Nolly and Williams and Dandridge too, and Dandridge obviously is coming back. So I mentioned that they signed this kid, Josh Minot. He's rated as the 29th best prospect in the nation, right? He's the guy that Penny just says can do anything that you want him to do. He signed with Memphis over Baylor, Florida State, Oklahoma, and Texas. He is a point forward, according to Penny. Camden, the 90th ranked player in the nation by Rivals, is guy averaged 16 points a game. He, according to Penny, said he is Tyler Hero. That's the kind of role he plays, and he will be that kind of player. He can put it on the floor, finish at the rim. Really nice game. And then Onu, who is the number 97 prospect, 15 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks as a junior. He picked the Tigers over Illinois and Kansas, and Penny says he's a guy who can't stretch out to a 3, but most of the time he likes to work down in the low post and's got great footwork already. Strong, nice size, big, that we need to play a physical game down low. You add him with Dandridge, as you mentioned. That sounds like a team of guys who know what they're doing. Now, look, if the Lawsons come and they fit into that role, sure seems to me they could.
More the merrier.
Then,
think how much recruiting has changed since Coach Hardaway was hired. I mean, it is radically changed. I mean, it's a complete different set of circumstances than he really signed up for, and he's adapted to it, and looks like next year will thrive in it.
A guy came up to me today. I was actually in James Davis, and they're going to start doing some more spots with us starting tomorrow. We're happy to have them back on. It's always a good place to go and kibitz with folks too. And he said to me, "All right, if you could rate the top coaches the U of M's ever had." He goes like Calipari and Yates and Kirk. And
Yates would be way down there because he couldn't coach at all, and he was loaded.
I know. And Bartow,
Gene Bartow, and Dana Kirk,
and he forgot Finch. I said, well, you better put Finch in there. And I started to think about it because I have such a soft spot for Calipari, who just made everything so exciting. And Bartow,
Cal's the best coach his school's ever had.
Cal?
Yeah.
What'd you say? Where would you put Bartow? See, here's the thing. Is when Bartow was here, there wasn't even a shot clock or a three-point line. So it's really
no
hard.
Freshman eligibility when he first got
That's
here.
right. No freshman eligibility. Kirk got freshman eligibility, but there was no shot clock or three-point line for him either. People forget that came in after.
Dexter Reed was Coach Bartow's first real freshman star. That freshman year Dexter had was something. And into that sophomore year before, he destroyed his knee.
And then Larry Finch is, because of the vacated wins, he's the number one coach of all time, and nobody puts him in the conversation.
Larry was Elite 8 and a Sweet 16, and a lot of big wins and a tougher conference then than now.
That's the thing I was thinking about when Larry Finch was winning
and he had Penny Hardaway
tournaments.
I mean, if Penny Hardaway can get a Penny Hardaway, look out.
Yeah. But that conference was really, really good. The Metro, oh my gosh!
Tuesday night at Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah. I think Finch
a Saturday against South Carolina.
Finch doesn't get the credit that he should get because he beat great teams. Calipari, he took us to Elite Eights and Final Fours and Sweet 16s on a regular basis. But and I don't like to diminish the conference that we were in totally. But it was not as good as some of the others that those coaches had to battle in. Tough call to make. That's what happens when you have great history. It's really hard to kind of sort through it all and go, oh, that's the best guy or that's the best guy. There were a lot of good. I would take right now for sure I would take Bartow, Calipari, Finch, any day of the week to be my coach, or Kirk. Kirk was, for that time period, because you got to remember, again, strategy was different. There was no shot clock or three-point line. He went to that four-corner stuff. We got to take a break. Or he called it the fist offense. We take a break. When we come back, we will head to Arizona. David Brandt from AP follows the Suns and the Cardinals and the Devil Rays. Not Devil Rays. Sorry about that. We'll talk some baseball, too. We got lots to cover here in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
It's happening again at Family Leisure. Don't miss out again this summer because pools are going fast. Spas in stock now, too, and they're ready for delivery. New 2021 patio furniture, state-of-the-art in stock now, and up to 20% off select sets. Swing into spring with a brand new play gym, professional installation available. The temperature's rising, and so is the service at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
The summer of fun is here at Mario's Pools. Mario's Pools on Exeter Road in Germantown can keep your pool picture perfect all season. That beautiful pool doesn't just happen. So call Mario and his team will keep it right or guide you every step of the way to do it yourself. If you need a replacement pool liner, Mario's has the best price against all major competitors and the best selection. Call Mario's Pools at 552-3399. That's 552-3399. Or just walk in and see him in Germantown on Exeter Road. His showroom has everything you need from equipment to pool supplies to keep your backyard an oasis. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Check out his reviews on Facebook. Don't be a slave to your pool. Call Mario's Pools today. 552-3399.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour on this busy Monday. David Brandt. We used to visit with David a lot when he was with the Clarion Ledger and in Jackson at the AP desk. Been in Phoenix a while now. We will talk with him about the Western Conference of the NBA and some NFL and some Major League Baseball after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road in DeSoto County. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. They're at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online, check out the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com, and check out the beautiful cars down on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go out and find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home, friendly sales staff that cares about you and want you to have the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, find the car you want, test drive that car, get credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're gone in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now, right after work. It's that simple. They know we live in a world today that time matters, and DeSoto Auto Sales, they are looking out for you. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com, but better yet, get to 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
David Brandt, you mentioned he used to work in Jackson. Now he is in Phoenix. Always a pleasure to chat with you, my friend. Have you gotten over that culture shock, by the way?
It's a lot different, but it's good. It's different in good ways. I mean, it's not better. It's just different. And I will say the one true life hack of living out here is being in the Pacific time zone as far as sports go. It's sports are done every day by 10:30, 11 o'clock. It's amazing. And, you'll have Major League Baseball
I dream of it someday.
Games. Yeah. Oh, it's terrific. It's like college football starts at 9 a.m. It's amazing.
The worst part, though, is the news doesn't start till 11. So instead of the local news at 10, you got to stay up till 11:30 if you want to watch the news.
I know. I at that point, I just read the internet and call it a day. I'm too old for that.
That is weird. It is weird. Other than Central Time Zone, we're the only 10 o'clock news time zone, aren't we?
Yeah, I really didn't think about it like that, but that's very true.
I think, honestly, Mountain Zone, like Denver, they do their news at 10.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The real reason you got to Phoenix is you wanted to get that far away from Egg Bowl Twitter, didn't you?
Oh, my gosh. I tell you what, it was good to get away for like a year, just to get off of it, but I miss it now. Sometimes
We miss
follow
you.
a lot of the same people. Yeah, no, it's the whole Elijah Moore incident. My phone was blowing up. A year and a half ago or so.
You should have seen me that night. I almost had spontaneous combustion.
Oh my gosh, that was it. I think Mississippi just spontaneously combust. How I've learned when something's a big deal in Mississippi, if people in Phoenix are talking about it, like there was just random people I didn't even know that were just like, did you see what happened in the Egg Bowl? And so when you got folks in Central Arizona talking about it, for better or for worse, you've made some headlines.
Well, in reflection of that, I mean, Arizona's Arizona State. That's pretty nasty too. Oregon State, man. I was up there around the time that game was being played in football. It got a little nasty.
Dave,
we
Utah,
all know.
BYU.
Oh,
That is for keeps.
Yeah, Alabama, Auburn. Obviously, we know that. USC, UCLA. But do you think, particularly a couple of years ago, that the Ole Miss Mississippi State rivalry just got a little too far? Because it was.
See, we dragged you back in,
It was
David.
sort
You can't
of
escape
nasty.
it.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yes, I do think it got a little unhealthy for a little while.
Yeah,
I think it was just an interesting spot in the rivalry when you think about 2014, 2015. I think we're even now, but I think especially in like 15 years from now, we're going to be talking about that as sort of a golden age as far as, how good those teams were. Dak Prescott, Chad Kelly, there was just so many, NFL stars on each team. And, Mississippi State is a trivia question. They were the number one team in the very first college football playoff rankings back when they did it, and so there's, that was just an interesting time in the rivalry. I think that things got a little heated there for a while. It's good to see it dial back a little, but I also it was really, really fun those years, just how much those games meant, just how the stakes that were riding on everything. That was really neat. That was something that I enjoyed.
Who do you give this year's right now the 2 seed for the Phoenix Suns? Is that all Chris Paul, or is it Ayton, Booker, and the other pieces coming of age around Chris Paul?
Well, I think it's Chris Paul in the sense that he's obviously a Hall of Famer and a really good player still, but I think he brought a sense of professionalism and know-how to that group. And then you've got all those guys you just talked about that are getting better. Mikal Bridges has turned into a really nice player. Cam Johnson's a nice player. DeAndre Ayton's really finding his role and becoming a good player. Devin Booker just keeps getting better as far as a scorer. And I think having Chris in the backcourt with him just sort of allows him to, I don't know, just sort of absorb some of that knowledge from him. And sometimes I think that's overrated, but I think in this case, the Suns really needed somebody like that. And I think that, to a lesser extent, Jay Crowder has provided some of that too. He played in the finals last year with the Heat. And so I think Chris Paul, obviously, is a great player, but I think his know-how, his confidence has really kind of rubbed off on the team as well.
We love Jay Crowder. He was in Memphis most of last year and then got dealt to Miami with Iguodala, who never put a Memphis uniform on. And Crowder is, to me, one of the ultimate team players both ways, offense and defense, that you will find in the NBA. I loved him at Marquette. I love him now there, and I only wish him the best because I think he puts out every night to try to make his team better in whatever way you need him. My question, though, is about Ayton, because he was the number one player overall that was taken. There's a lot of pressure that comes to that. Some people have already, I've heard this year, thinking he has really delivered to what most folks thought he would be. What is the general feeling in the Phoenix area about him?
There's some frustration a little bit at times, like every time he drops an alley-oop pass or something, people get a little irritated. But I think that, especially with the Suns getting better and kind of maturing as a team, I think people are starting to understand what Ayton provides and the good parts of DeAndre Ayton. The good parts about him are, yes, he was a number one draft pick, and with that, a lot of times comes a ton of ego. But DeAndre has honestly put that aside and is fine with scoring 16 points a game and grabbing 10 rebounds. And he's really embraced the role of being a defensive anchor, which they don't really have if DeAndre doesn't do that. So, and that's not something that really comes super natural to him, but he's learning how to, bang in the post a little more, block some shots, just be a pain and get second chance opportunities, running the floor. He hustles, all those different things. And so, I think there is a sentiment that he will probably never be the number one pick as far as, 30 points a game, 15 rebounds a game. But I think he has matured into a very, very good player. And I think Suns fans are starting to appreciate what he is instead of what they dreamed he could be, if that makes any sense. I mean, I think he's a really good player. He's a borderline all-star, probably not quite there. But on this team, he fills a role really well, and they're going to need him if they want to go deep in the playoffs.
All right, so a couple-fold question. Can they catch Utah? If they can't catch Utah and they fell out of the 2, would the fans now be disappointed after being in the 2 spot so long?
Well, sure, they'd be a little disappointed. I mean, once you raise expectations, we know how that goes. Everybody Phoenix had won 10 games in a row at home, and then they got blown out the other night by the Spurs, and everybody was looking around like, what happened? They just got so used to the Suns winning by 20 every single night that, you raise expectations, and that's what happens. But, I think that what people here want more than anything is in that first round, they would love to be the host team. So I think anywhere in the top 4 will appease Suns fans just fine, especially after not being in the playoffs for 11 years. And, you look at these Western Conference standings, the Clippers are right on the Suns' heels. I know the Nuggets just lost Jamal Murray, but the Lakers are starting to get healthy. You wonder if the Mavericks or the Trailblazers or somebody like that is going to figure it out. The Western Conference is pretty nasty right now. And, I think anything that keeps you out of the play-in tournament and especially can get you to host at least that first round, would be considered a victory in this year's West.
Yeah. Here's the question I have, because we saw them come out of the bubble, and then I heard all these people early in the year go, well, they were built for the bubble. I don't know what the heck that really means. And I see them, and they remind me a little bit, and I could be off on this, of Milwaukee last year, a team that was really good in the regular season. But how will they respond when they really get to playoff time? And I know Chris Paul makes a difference, and he's had plenty of playoff experience, but that's about it. So how do you think it translates when everything's on the line in the playoffs?
There's no question that everybody's around here is kind of wondering the same thing, because the thing that the Suns have had going for them, I think they're very good, and I think they're fun to watch. They move the ball really well. They play defense, all those different things. But they've stayed pretty healthy, especially among their core players. Booker's been healthy. Paul's been healthy. Ayton's been healthy. Crowder, really their top 7 or 8 rotation players, other than some COVID issues earlier in the year. I mean, you've got most guys have played 52 out of 56 games, 54, that sort of thing. While a lot of the other teams, like the Nuggets, we just talked about Jamal Murray, the Lakers, obviously with LeBron and Anthony Davis, people have injuries. And so the Suns have been somewhat fortunate in that regard. And I think they've been catching teams at advantageous times, like the Nets came in here the other day, and they didn't have Durant, they didn't have Harden. They were kind of a shell of what they normally are. And so I think the Suns will be very competitive in the playoffs. I think they've got a chance to go deep, but I do think the game changes, and it'll be interesting in the playoffs how they respond, because I think more teams will be closer to full health.
Who's the biggest star around town? Kyler Murray or Chris Paul?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably as much as people like Chris Paul, Devin Booker is the one here that people really love. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's, because he's been here forever. Like, it feels like forever, at least like 6 years.
Watch him grow up.
He's been through the bad times. Now he's here in the good times, and he's really embraced, the city and the valley, and really. I just think Chris Paul's really popular, don't get me wrong, but I think Devin he's the one that is introduced last and gets the biggest cheers at the games. Kyler Murray is really loved, but he hasn't taken the king stance from Larry Fitzgerald yet. Larry is by far over Devin, over anybody. The person, Larry is part owner of the Suns, and he sits courtside every game, and the chants break out every single game of Larry and stuff like that.
Really?
So he acknowledges everybody. Oh, yeah, Larry Fitzgerald is an absolute rock star.
I did not realize he's got part ownership of the Suns.
Yes, that happened last year. He bought, I don't know how much, but it's a minority stake.
Well, it's got to be at least 1%. We learned that now because there's a lot of teams that want celebrity owners, and I think the rule is you have to own at least 1% of the team.
Right, and honestly, I think it's considerably more than that. But he sits courtside with Robert Sarver probably in 80% of games, and he is absolutely loved, whether it's football or basketball, and so it's a really interesting dynamic.
Which coach?
So you think he has a big role post football with the basketball team?
Oh, absolutely. I just think with the basketball team and in the Valley, Central Arizona in general, he talks all the time about him wanting to be, kind of a businessman and be involved. I mean, that's the only reason. Like, physically, I think he could come back next year and be a good NFL player, just like he has been for the last 46 years or something like that. But, I think that in his mind, he could do it physically, but there's just a lot of stuff he wants to do, whether it's with the Suns or other business ventures, restaurants, stuff like that he's got around here. So it'll be interesting to see which direction he goes. But, yeah, he's definitely the man around town around here.
He's a great golfer, isn't he? If I recall correctly,
yes,
doesn't he play like in the Tahoe celebrity stuff? Yeah, he really is something else. All right, who's the most popular coach, and where does Kingsbury fit in all of that?
Who would be the most popular coach? I guess it is Kingsbury because he's not super talkative. But, I mean, he does do some tongue-in-cheek things. Like you guys remember on Twitter during the draft last year when he took that picture of his, amazing house in Scottsdale and his war room. So it's probably Kingsbury. Monty Williams is really well liked, the Suns coach. He's a super nice guy. Got a great backstory and obviously kind of a sad backstory, obviously, with what happened to his wife, who died in that car crash. Yeah. And so, Monty's really well liked. There's just not a lot of real demonstrative coaches here. So I guess it would be Kingsbury, but they definitely take a backseat to the players.
For the Arizona Cardinals, for the football Cardinals now, what do they want out of this draft? Do they want offensive pieces around Kyler Murray or go defense and try to stop somebody?
Well, that's a great question. They're at number 16, and people are really interested to see what direction they go because they're obviously going for it. The way the NFL, the way the salary cap works these days. Kyler Murray's on his rookie contract for 2 more years, so that means they have 2 more years to pay some people money before they've really got to pay Kyler Murray, and it gets a lot tighter. You see that with guys like Dak Prescott and stuff like that, how much of the salary cap they eat up. So, they went out, they got J.J. Watt. They went out, they got A.J. Green. They traded for Rodney Hudson, the all-pro center from the Raiders. They've done a lot of things to really make a push right now. And so I think ideally they would like an impact player in the secondary. They lost Patrick Peterson to the Vikings in free agency. They did sign Malcolm Butler, obviously with the Titans, and he's from Mississippi, and they've got him as a veteran on a 1-year deal. But I think ideally they would like an impact player, especially at corner. But the way they're built and the way they love to do things, it wouldn't shock me if they went and got another receiver, if they went and got, another playmaker, because that's what they're built on. So, last year they showed a willingness to kind of take what was available. You remember Isaiah Simmons, the linebacker from Clemson, surprisingly fell to them. And I don't think they really were planning on taking Isaiah Simmons, but that was such value at the number 8 pick that they went ahead and did that. So you might see a similar situation. But I think, like I said, ideally, I think they would like to help out the secondary, especially at corner.
All right, last thing, and we are having fun talking with our friend David Brandt. We used to talk with him when he was with the Clarion Ledger, now in Phoenix with AP, and that's baseball. And the Diamondbacks, and off to a rocky start. which I can relate to with the Cubs, and Brett can kind of relate to with the Cardinals. What kind of folks are showing up? Are you allowed a percentage of capacity?
Yeah, actually, it's opened up a decent amount. It's not quite like Texas or anything like that, but I think the Diamondbacks now, they can have 21,000 at games, and then at Suns games you could have like 7,000 or 6,000. It's close to half full. So they had a decent crowd for opening day, and then they're drawing okay because they got the retractable roof. They can this time of year you don't want to open the roof in July, but you can open the roof in April, and it's not too bad.
My friend,
David,
we thank you. Go ahead.
One more thing, Dave. Don't forget Larry Fitzgerald and Eli Manning forever linked. Larry Fitzgerald was 2 in the Heisman balloting, Eli 3 in 2003 when Jason White was the landslide winner. He got his Heisman. Larry Fitzgerald and Eli Manning are going to Canton.
That's right. That's amazing. In some ways, that feels like yesterday. It's hard to believe those guys are pushing 40 years old at this point.
Will they go in at the same time, Brett? I'm trying to remember.
No, because Eli. Well, they could go in at the same time because I don't think Eli's going first year like Peyton is. And now Larry Fitzgerald hadn't retired yet and started his clock, but it could be close. Yeah, it could be real close if they go in like that. Yeah, it could.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Yeah. David, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you.
Thank you, David.
It could work out where the Grizzlies pay the Suns in the first round if they can get past the play-in. And
that'd be
could
great.
Be fun.
That would be a fun series. Anytime you guys want, I'm open to talk.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you much.
All right, see you guys.
That's our friend David Brent down in Phoenix, Arizona. We're talking about golf courses in Tucson, and Larry Fitzgerald, a great golfer. He needs to come here. He can play golf here because guess what's back open? That's Miramichi. Love that it's back open. In fact, I played it on Saturday. It is gorgeous. It sits on 330 acres. If you want to go way
from
back,
Saturday,
I struck the ball really good. I cannot putt, Brett. I'm like Tom Watson on the final hole of the British Open.
That's never been your malady on the golf course. Get out there on that practice green at Miramichi and work on your game some.
It has become an issue. I may be seeing Ted Butler for a putting lesson. Now, you can go way back on Miramichi and play 7,400 yards. I like to play, I think it's 6,300. It's their gold. There are all kinds of different tee boxes for whatever challenge that you want. And by the way, in 2020, Golf Week said best golf course you can play state by state. Miramichi was listed. It is just fun, and it's gorgeous. And the best view, I think, in any golf course in Memphis is the beautiful deck right between 9 and 18 on Miramichi. It's above everything. You can see the trees, and you can see the lakes. There's a big fountain that comes out of one of the lakes. Gorgeous. And they are going to start using it. They've been using it for weddings, but now it's going to be open to the public. Even if you're not playing golf, you can park all the way up at the top there. There'll be bands on the weekend, so there'll be some music and food and beverage. There's a couple of TVs up there if you want to watch the ball game after you're through with your round of golf. It is just gorgeous. Revamped bathrooms, and now the rates are so fair. Senior golf, $30 Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That includes golf cart and always complimentary range balls. Even on the weekends for young guys that are in their prime, it's still under $50. It's the best deal going, the best golf course going. It's outstanding. It's Miramichi.
Dave, you mentioned to David Brent about, we've had a lot of Davids today. David Willoshin, David Brandt, David Cobb. You mentioned to him about the D-backs and their woes. Their early struggling start looks a lot like the Cubs, a lot like the Cardinals, and all those teams that are kind of in that middling 7-8, 7-9, 8-7, 6-9, 6-10 range. It feels like on the night they hit, they don't pitch. On the night they pitch, they don't hit. They can't get everything synced up. And I think the hitting is way behind the pitching.
Oh, yeah.
Because of spring training and COVID and not as much maybe off-season direction at the team facility. from the hitting coaches.
I think this goes back to a couple of things, and that's the truth now. Everybody has a problem hitting the baseball. As I said, there were more strikeouts now in baseball than hits. That's a problem for the game, I think. I don't care about home runs. Yeah, I like a home run too, but I personally, I'd rather see a few singles in there and strategy and everything else that
some gappers
I've come to love. Yeah,
watch
baseball.
Players run.
Well, to me, a triple or inside the park home run has always been the most interesting play in baseball.
A bang-bang double.
Bang, bang. How about a great double play on a great defensive play when the ball's put into play? But if you have so many strikeouts, how much fun is that? It's not fun. And I think it goes back to two things. I think Tim Doolin touched on this last week when he said the shift. So the shift has taken a lot of stuff away. The other thing is I think coaches for the last 5-6 years, they have been hitting instructors, have been teaching how to get the home run trajectory, the way you swing with the barrel going upward and the ball taking flight and exit speed off the bat and all this other stuff.
Velo's big.
That's what they're after, and it's okay to strike out as long as you hit enough home runs. And we're not back to playing fundamental baseball. Some of it is the strategies defensively where analytics came into play. So I think those two things have really hurt the game, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it.
Yeah, yesterday the Cardinals just couldn't touch Aaron Nola. He had just really, really nasty stuff, and I don't know much it could have gotten to him. And Nola, apropos being named Nola from LSU. Summer road trips, they're on the way. And in Olive Branch, you can go down there and drive all the new Silverados, Tahoes, and Equinox at All-Star Chevrolet. Go down and test drive one. Got to drive a new Blazer or third row seat Traverse, thousands in cash back. I mean thousands, lots of real money back. Financing as good as 0 for 72 months. All-Star Chevy, they've got dozens of demos for sale. And the now nearly famous best deal in town. If you want to sell your Chevy car, truck, or SUV, bring it to All-Star Chevy and get a check today. They'll beat any legit offer, and you'll get a lot of money back. Any 2015 to 2021 with less than 75,000 miles. The certified Chevy pre-owned lot is packed, but our friends at All-Star Chevy, they want more. Bring them yours with your title, clear title, and you'll get your check today. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah, it's not Collierville, it's not South Haven, it's not Covington Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch. Everyone at All-Star, one job. Make sure you have a lot of fun, get a great deal, and do it all in record-setting time. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road or online at allstarautogroup.com. Best financing for everyone at All-Star Chevrolet.
We take a quick time out. When we come back, there is a new name in the NBA draft. I'm going to chat with you guys on who you think is the surest bet of all the first 10 draft picks that will end up having a 10-year, 2 or 3 All-Star game career. Back in just a minute with that on Sports Time on Sports 56.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, zero security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344, 837, MSRP $20,655, Soul M777, $2135, MSRP $21,130, K5, MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021, dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Fiveash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Halfway home, hour number 3 on another gorgeous day in Memphis. It's brought to you by Sheldon. You know, when people talk about real estate, they say you want the job done, you call Sheldon. I think you should. He's got the hottest new listing. He and Maria Cron, they just placed on the market a 3,500 Wind Garden Cove. I think one of the better deals going on. Why is it so hot? It's because it's the ultimate wow house. It's on the 18th fairway at Southwind. It is the former home of Grizzlies coach J.B. Bickerstaff. It's the former home of Josh Pastner. And the current owner, totally renovated, never moved in. What a deal. Whether you live in Southwind, Germantown, downtown, Midtown, if you're thinking of selling, talk to 2 or 3 real estate brokers. Just make sure that they are in the mix with my guys Sheldon and Maria, because they've got the experience and that strategic marketing program. It sets them apart from all the other brokers. Just like hearing about your home right here, like the one in Southwind. 483-0546, that's the number, or memphisrelocate.com. And this portion of the show also brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch and Genesis of Olive Branch. Please go see my friends. Get on Highway 78. It's Lamar. First exit in Mississippi, you turn left, go see Chris True and All the Game. This is a group that's been together about 13 or 14 years. They've got the product, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new Hyundai and every new Genesis car. And that Genesis, by the way, you want to talk to Vinny Gerard. He's over that department now. They can't keep all the Genesis on the lot because they're so darn popular. And when we talk service, every new car, Genesis or Hyundai, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package because they want to take care of you. It's on the house at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. So we've got the NBA draft coming up. Of course, we got the NFL draft too. In the NBA, I've taken these top 10 guys. Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State. Evan Mobley, kid from USC that was just terrific, I think, in the tournament. He's the 7-footer that who's the guy that played in the Big Three in Miami? Chris Bosh. He reminds me of Chris Bosh. Jalen Suggs, the kid from Gonzaga, who he opted to go pro today. He's listed third. Jalen Green, who almost came to Memphis, went to the G League. So did Jonathan Kuminga. He's going to be a top 10 guy. Scotty Barnes, the freshman from Florida State, 6'9". Moses Moody, we all know that 6'9", 6'6" leaper from Arkansas. Keon Johnson from Tennessee. Davion Mitchell from Baylor, whose stock went way up, the champions, and then Corey Kispert, who I think his stock might have gone down in the championship game, the young man from Gonzaga. Those are the 10 guys. Both of you, out of that list, who do you think for sure 10-year career, 2 or 3-time All-Star? Or maybe there's more than one.
Cunningham and Mobley for sure, and I'm going to go outside that list. Is that allowed?
Yes.
I'm going to go to Moses Moody, and somebody's going to get him kind of like the Grizzlies did Jaren. He didn't have as bad an NCAA tournament as Jaren did, but that secured him falling to the forward of the Grizzlies. Probably was going to anyway, even if he'd had a breakout when Moody was good in the tournament, but not great, and somebody 7, 8, 9, 10 will get him now. And the other player from Baylor could be the one in line to maybe for the Grizzlies if they're in there. But I'm going to go Cade Cunningham.
You're talking about Jared Butler, right?
I am. That's who. And Drew, I'm going to go Cade Cunningham. And, Dave, I looked it up. Cade Cunningham, born in 2001.
Yeah.
14 days after 9/11. He was born September 25th, 2001.
All right, who do you like?
Well, that just makes me actually feel old, and I don't like that whatsoever. Especially like now when you go to order drinks, they just say, "No, you're good. I see the 1 on your ID." That makes me feel old too.
You know what? I went on campus for the first time in a long time because it was a little nostalgic thing going on after the Blue Gray. Oh, I saw you in there, by the way.
You did.
RP Tracks. I went there, and the guy carded every one of us. Myself, Greg Gaston, who looks like he's 103, you know. They carded all of us.
What, they carded him, to check your AARP cards or what?
Somebody told me it's not just the age. They want to see that you have
that it's valid?
That it's a valid ID of some kind.
Did you have to show your Vax card?
I could have. Well, I took a picture of mine. I don't carry it, but I have a picture of it in my phone.
I got mine laminated.
I was going to, but here's why. And my wife did
too. Go to Kinko's or go to FedEx office.
Wait. What if now they say, wait, you're going to have boosters? Where are you going to put that on that laminated card?
I didn't think about that.
Neither did my wife. And I was on my way to do it, and somebody said, no, don't do it yet because we might have to have boosters.
Okay.
Can you unlaminate? I don't think you can.
I don't know. I'm not going to try that.
I don't think you can. But back to the whole NBA draft. In the top 10 of the guys that you mentioned, I like Jalen Suggs and Cade Cunningham the best. I think Jalen is a proven winner. I mean, just what he was able to do at Gonzaga in every aspect of the game. Cade Cunningham, so explosive, just one of those players that really fits today's NBA style of game of fast pace and high scoring. And I'll go out on a limb to somebody outside the top 10. I really like Miles McBride out of West Virginia. Watched a lot of West Virginia games this year.
Great
and
player.
his ability to score and run the floor, I think, is going to translate very well too.
Well,
play that press Virginia style.
We did not see enough of Jalen Green or Kuminga. I'll be curious to see if all these new great one-and-doners with the option of going to the elite G League teams and cash, and basically throwing away that 1 year where they could get glory. Like we've said this before, who had the better experience last year, Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green? Seems to me, even though he didn't make the money this time, he will in this draft. Seems to me Jalen Suggs had a heck of a good time hitting that semifinal winner and all the accolades he got. He's the guy.
He did something historic.
Yes.
And he'll get his money.
Out of the top guys, And I think the best player is going to come from these three. And I think it's a pretty good draft. I think Jalen Suggs reminds me so much of Derrick Rose. Now, he's a better shooter than Rose, but he's not quite as explosive, but close enough. And he's a better shooter, and he makes big things happen. He did it in that semifinal game. There was another game earlier in the year against a good team where they were behind for a short period of time, and he made all the plays that got him out there. He's just got the mindset. I think he's going to be great. I think Mobley is a for sure really good player too. And the third guy that I would have faith in is Cunningham, because I do think he's a really good player, but I think if you were just making me say of the three, which is going to be the one that really stands out, I would go with Suggs.
Suggs really, really solid player. A lot's going to be asked of Cunningham. If he goes number one overall to the Rockets, and they are really starting over.
Yeah, they are.
They'll lose a lot of games next year.
Well, I think Cunningham is probably going to go to Houston. That's almost, all the mocks seem to have that going on. And then Minnesota probably takes, I don't know, do they take Mobley?
And there's a chance Minnesota loses that pick to Golden State, isn't it?
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think so.
Well, then would they want to take Mobley when they already have James Wiseman in place? Aren't they the same guy?
There's a lot of stories out there of, if not discontent, wondering where Wiseman fits in, and some real buyer's remorse on not taking the younger ball instead of taking Wiseman.
Well, the younger ball has turned out to be a really good player, and
before injury was.
How do we? How do you really know? Because there's another guy that did not take the more traditional route. He went to New Zealand, the Breakers in the Australian basketball league.
Think about now, Dave, these thin resumes that these teams are having to draft on across sports, especially in COVID times when you really can't get out and see and feel and touch and really learn about a guy. The quarterback from North Dakota State that's getting ready to be drafted. And I saw a highlight reel of him this weekend, and he was running over a guy from Chadron State. Well, great. You're not going to play against that in the NFL, though. That's not what you're going to be going against. And James Wiseman with 3 games and Jalen Green with the G League experience.
But the league, see, the Jalen Green experience, if he's still 4, okay, then they know. Because to me, they were smart. They wanted to keep the one and done because, frankly, they want the colleges to develop the players. They don't want to have to pay for all of that. The G League, I question how long the G League will be around as big an entity as it is right now. When they made this decision that they were going to put a G League elite team together, so they're going to pay 4 or 5 guys, right? They're going to pay Jalen Green. They're going to play. They didn't have to pay him, but they offered the kid that was going to go. It was between Memphis and Texas, Greg Brown, right? They offered him. He said, I'll play college basketball. They offered Suggs. He said, I'm going to play college basketball. They got enough to see out of those guys. But guys like Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga, they don't know about those guys. So they said instead of having to pay $7 or $8 million for a 2-year guaranteed contract to a first-round draft choice or the top 2 or 3 pick, let's pay the guy $500,000. We'll know from the G League elite when they're playing against older people and we put them in international competition, we'll know whether they're good enough or not. It'll be a $500,000 gamble. And then if they're good enough, we'll pay them their 6 or 7, and we'll have enough evidence. That is what I think the G League elite was all about. It was to stop gambling on those first 2-year contracts on rookies they didn't know enough about.
I agree. And for those players, a real roll of the dice because now they do know about you. Whereas if you'd have gone through the college experience, had a good year, you're still kind of betting on hope.
Yep, absolutely.
You might have exposed yourself.
These guys, they're smart and they understand the money aspect of it all, and they're figuring it out. But I look at this draft in summation here. I think this is a pretty good draft because I think Cunningham, Mobley, and Suggs, I think all three are going to be good players for sure.
And for most of those guys, Dave, 500,000 sounds a lot at 18, but after Uncle Sam and after a little spending, I know it's hard to believe, but that's not that much money. Not
right.
What they can make.
But think about, at least they're making that 1 year, and then they can go off to Europe and make some money if they don't make it in the NBA. Think about the guys that were leaving or not coming to college or leaving early after a year or two, and they got to settle for the G League, and they're paying $30,000 or $40,000 a year. That's reality.
That's real life. Like happened to Jarnell.
Exactly. What happened to Jarnell Stokes? Did he get a year in with any NBA team? I don't know if it does. A G League.
Don't think
Here's
so.
the other thing: does a G League guy, if he spends 4 or 5 years in the G League, does he get any kind of a pension from the NBA because they own the G League?
I would bet no. I
don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I do know this. This portion of the show is brought to you by Conway. If you're considering replacing your heating and air conditioning this spring, how about Conway? Because they've got the deal that now is the perfect time to make the move to new technology because they're giving you Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on a select Carrier Infinity system. And if your system happens to need 2 units, now we're talking $3,000 in Visa cards. Now, that'll come in handy if you want to take a nice summer vacation now that we're getting open up all over the place to go and enjoy. And if that's not enough, John says, hold on, let me give you an April air cleaner. That'll get the dust out of your home. A 10-year parts warranty. Both those things are free. And a free Nest thermostat. That in itself is worth about $1,400. Plus, with Conway, they always try to make it easy on you. They got easy payment plans right now for that new Carrier technology for as low as $139 a month. Everybody could do that. And you're always going to get the Conway award-winning service every time you call. Just make the call. 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the Visa gift card give back. Back in just a minute. It'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You have opinions.
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 70236.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time with Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on select Carrier Infinity systems. If you happen to need 2 new systems, that'd be up to $3,000 in Visa cards. Now that'd come in handy. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner to help remove dust from your home, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, with Conway Services, we have easy payment plans with systems as low as $139 per month. Now you could do that. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches, 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Voloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
I talked about my putting nose a little earlier. I texted on the First Bank text line, 70236, the new number, 70236. Says, get fitted for a Scotty Cameron Phantom X putter. It's like magic.
That's what you boys ought to be buying you for your birthday.
Yeah, that's really a good idea, except I can tell you this. I don't think my boys, and they're doing okay, I don't think they could afford a Scotty Cameron putter. You know, those things that I don't know if Scotty's got gold.
Always easy to spend somebody else's cash.
In the face of those putters, those things are expensive. Although, you know, maybe Jay Hasselman will give me a little deal over at Edwin Watts. We'll have to see. This portion of the show is brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Maybe if I brought up some wine from the Spirit Shop or bourbon from the Spirit Shop, because, you know, he's got some really, really valuable, big-name, wonderful bourbons and wonderful the top-rate wines. He really does. But then he's got the middle ground and he's got the bargains. He's got the up-and-comers. Here's the thing about the Spirit Shop. 4646 Poplar in St. Nick, right down from Clark Towers, that little log cabin. Here's the thing. They love talking about spirits in there. They'll educate you. They'll tell you, here's a wine that in 3 years, it'll be a little like, when Silver Oak first came out, or Cornerstone. A bunch of Memphians own that. Nobody really knew you could get that at such a good price. And then the popularity and the quality was known, and it went way up. Well, Eddie knows on the ground floor. So get in on the ground floor. Rob Bauer's got this great Chardonnay. Now they've got a little knockoff he told me about called Harkin. He's got it all. He's got the education. He's got everything laid out so beautiful in that little log cabin. You'll love it. Tell him we sent you. You will absolutely learn something and enjoy and save a little money on your spirits when you go to the Spirit Shop. It is officially Taco Bell crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
Boop! Choo-choo!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three. Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Learned today that we were right on Friday. We said on Friday that the Padres and Dodgers would have a lot of barking and a lot of yapping in their series, and they did. Benches empty twice, bullpens empty twice. The Padres are real good, but they're real cocky for winning 37 games last year in a 60-game sprint.
I would agree. I would agree with that. We learned today, quarterback-wise, a few things. We learned that Joe Milton, the starting quarterback to begin the year at Michigan, had started 5 games for the Wolverines. He's transferring in his landing spot, Knoxville, Tennessee. Maybe the Volunteers will have a different starting quarterback than they envisioned when spring practice began. And we learned today in the pros, maybe the best quarterback in all the land, Patrick Mahomes, is ahead of schedule from his toe surgery. And, Brett, I'm really glad about that because that kind of toe turf thing, sometimes you don't recover from that. If he's ahead of schedule, that means he is going to be okay.
Could have done without. I thought this was going to be the year that Alabama was going to be gettable. Next year, Bryce Young looks like he's going to be just fine for them, and a slew of wide receivers and some that didn't even play in Saturday's spring game for Alabama. They've got the offensive firepower again. Bama may lose two games next year, but 2 losses could win the West next year with Bama, A&M, and LSU all in the mix at the top of the SEC West.
Do you think Alabama's ever going to be gettable with Nick Saban around? Really?
If it's not next year, it won't be.
I don't see it. I could have done without the Alex Smith story because I like Alex Smith. Longtime quarterback starting with the Washington
team. It scared me
team.
Every time he played, though.
Well, he ended a 16-year journey. He started off as the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. He had that
From
horrible,
the AutoZone Liberty Bowl to NFL.
Right, and then he had that terrible, terrible injury. And then he came back, and I thought it was fantastic. He clearly was the comeback player of the year, but it was just too much. 37 years old next month. He can walk, he can run, he'll be able to play golf and play with kids and do everything the rest of his life. Really a smart decision. 16 years, That's triple what most NFL players get to play. More than that. So congratulations on a great year. Yep.
Every time the pocket would kind of get crowded on him last year and people falling around him, it would scare me to death. Keeping a close eye on a lot tonight, for one thing, praying for justice, peace, calm, and understanding in Minneapolis, but also keep an eye on the Grizzlies tonight. They're a mile high in Denver against the Nuggets. Jazz at Staples late against the Lakers, and we need the Pacers to beat San Antonio. Cardinals in D.C., Brew Crew at Padres. Mr. No-No himself, Joe Musgrove, going the mound tonight for the confident and cocky Padres.
I can't wait for the Valanciunas-less Grizzlies just to see how they play without a guy who's just been as consistent as anybody else. And I love watching Jokic and the Nuggets and Will Barton, so that'll be fun to watch. But you forgot one game, critical to this show. This is the Drew Wallow Showdown tonight.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
What's the bet?
Blackhawks, Preds. And
hair versus hair?
By
is
the
it
way,
a hair match?
For the 4th position in their division. It's a critical game tonight.
I can't figure out the playoffs.
I'll put a beer on it if you want to.
Sure, beer is on it. We will do that.
I can't figure out the hockey playoff scenarios.
We'll put a beer on it. I think the Preds are the favorite, but I'm going with my heart, baby. Going with my heart. We got to thank Ted Butler. We got to thank David Cobb. It was really nice talking to David Brandt. We started off, even though he's been in Phoenix for a while, talking old days with his era in Jackson with the Clarion Ledger. That was a lot of fun. We'll do this whole thing again tomorrow. Ron Tillery will be front and center early on. Have a great night, everybody.
I want to do some